Chapter 91. Chu Tian sending Nangong Yun away was not to help Nangong Yi, but more for the company's sake. If Miracle Commerce wanted to expand, sooner or later they would have to step into the main city. Once Nangong Yun left, Meng Yingying had one less helper, so she was very busy. Miracle Commerce's second source energy restaurant, Cloud Realm, and third restaurant, Miracle Grand Hotel, were ready to open for business. Miracle Commerce was going to lay out the medicine and talisman production, and the mayor's palace had passed the city-wide street lamp construction plan. They were going to invest a lot of money in the main streets, squares, and other public places of South Sky City to install street lamps on a large scale, turning South Sky City into a city that never sleeps. Miracle Commerce was going to welcome a huge leap in development. All honor, money, power, they were all built on the foundation of strength. Otherwise it would just be a dream, it could be taken away at any time. The Ye family, the Chu family, and the Luo family could make a comeback at any time. The three families were like a sharp knife hanging over his head. Chu Tian felt that he could not wait any longer. The awakened soul realm was a must. Not only could he increase his ability to protect himself, he could also obtain the identity of the Nangong family's guest official, giving Miracle Commerce another layer of protection. In these few days, Chu Tian had brought back a large amount of level 1 elixirs from the black market, refined them all into elixirs and gave them to Meng Qingwu and her sister. This was enough to push Meng Qingwu and Meng Yingying to the peak of the 9th body refinement layer. As for Chu Tian, because he had successfully broken through to the 9th body refinement layer in the black market. Now that he had gone through several dangerous battles in the ancient tomb, he had used the 1000-year yuan essence grass several times, causing his spirit energy to increase by quite a bit. Because of this, Chu Tian simply went into closed-door cultivation for 2 days, stepping into the peak of the 9th body refinement layer. The whole process did not have any twists and turns, it was almost a matter of course. Therefore, level 1 spiritual herbs were no longer of much use to him. Chu Tian prepared over 10,000 pieces of meteor grass and began to wildly practice the Starlight Immortal Body. In this trip to the black market, the Starlight Immortal Body had saved Chu Tian's life several times. Because Chu Tian had repeatedly used it, he had become more proficient in the Starlight Immortal Body. Now, 10,000 pieces of meteor grass were smashing down. Chu Tian had finally taken a big step in the Starlight Immortal Body, reaching the small success stage. He didn't need to deliberately condense it, he could create starlight to protect his body at any time. Unless it was an awakened soul realm expert, even if he just stood there and let others attack him, as long as his spirit energy wasn't depleted, he wouldn't be able to harm a single hair on his body. His cultivation had increased. His cultivation technique had been upgraded. His strength had increased tremendously. Naked, Chu Tian stood up from the vat, stretched his arms, and nodded in satisfaction. After cultivating this technique, my physique has also improved quite a bit. The little fox saw Chu Tian's naked body, so it used its 2 little claws to cover its eyes and let out a loud cry of protest. "Fuck, you're still shy? You're a fox, are you a female fox?" The little fox's 4 paws stomped and it instantly turned into a gray fog. When it appeared again, it had already retreated to the windowsill and was protesting in dissatisfaction. It was fine that he had abused it for so many days, but he didn't even know its gender. How could there be such an irresponsible master in this world? Chu Tian glared at it. He put on his clothes, took out a corpse core, and gently threw it over. The little fox's eyes lit up. It instantly disappeared. It caught the corpse core in the air and landed on Chu Tian's shoulder, happily gnawing on it. Chu Tian flicked its little head with his finger. "I really don't know what kind of creature you are, being so picky about what you eat, you won't eat anything that isn't a treasure." The little fox raised its head and gave a light snort. A normal spirit beast wouldn't be able to eat this much even if they wanted to. Only a super spirit beast like this fox has this ability. So, you don't know your good fortune. Raising this fox is your good fortune. Chu Tian was amused by the little fox's narcissism. No matter what was said, the fox's intelligence was not low, it was not inferior to a human's, and it was very intelligent. But Chu Tian still said with a serious face, "Don't blame me for not telling you, There's only this little corpse core left. You'll run out of food after you eat it. The little fox was not in a hurry. With a put-ong sound, it turned into a fog and disappeared. Chu Tian felt the weight on his waist lighten. The little fox appeared on the windowsill, holding a heavy bag. Its sparkling eyes narrowed and it gently threw the bag in the air, making the sound of source stones hitting each other. Its little claws scooped. Several pieces of low-grade source stones fell onto the table. The little fox stepped on the shiny source stones and first used its little claws to point at the source stones before pointing at its own mouth. It had a calm appearance, as if it was confidently saying, "Don't you have money? If you run out of food, then buy it for me." "You dare steal my money?" Chu Tian's nose went crooked from his anger. "Do you really think I'm an orphanage owner? Let me tell you, you better be of some use to me, otherwise Sir Chu Tian won't raise a useless pet." The little fox was too lazy to bother with him. It turned its head and pointed its butt at him, waving its furry tail to show its disdainful attitude. What was this fellow? It was as smart as a ghost. Chu Tian shook his head and picked up the netherworld sword. He walked into the yard and began to slowly dance with the sword. Chu Tian's defense was already strong enough, but his attack power was still lacking. The netherworld flame sword was a very strong sword art. If he could practice it to the small success realm, Chu Tian was confident that he could double his strength. But after practicing the sword art 4 or 5 times, he still couldn't find the feeling. There was always something missing in the sword art. What was missing? While Chu Tian was deep in thought, the little snow-white fox was sitting on the windowsill. Its sparkling eyes revealed a look of ridicule as it let out yi, ji sound, as if it was laughing at Chu Tian's stupidity. "Damn fox, you dare laugh at me?" It was unknown when the little fox had grabbed a small blue and white bead in its 2 claws. It forcefully threw it at Chu Tian in the yard. Don't look at it just because it was the size of a fist. Its strength was not small at all. The blue and white bead was like a meteor as it flew in front of Chu Tian. Chu Tian reached out his hand and saw that it was the netherworld ghost flame seed. He instantly understood the little fox's meaning. To practice the netherworld flame sword, just the sword art and the netherworld sword were not enough. The netherworld ghost flame was the key to the sword art. The little fox felt like it had done a big service. With a so sound, it quickly jumped onto Chu Tian's shoulder and stretched out a small claw. "You should eat a bit more. With the way you eat, I can't afford to raise you." The little fox used its claw to hold the corpse core and disappeared in a flash. Right at this time, suddenly a faint pressure came from the young Miss room. Chu Tian revealed a look of joy. With his help, Meng Qingwu had taken several pills over the past few days and had finally broken through. A mysterious and profound power filled the air. This was the aura of a source spirit appearing. A source spirit was born. Chu Tian was filled with joy. He immediately ran to the young Miss room to understand the situation. Meng Qingwu had just finished her cultivation. She had successfully broken through to the 9th body refinement layer and had given birth to a source spirit. But what was strange was that her source spirit was a thick book. Using a book as a source spirit, it was very rare even in the future. Chu Tian asked Meng Qingwu, "Do you feel any changes in your body?" Meng Qingwu had a blank look as she shook her head. "There's no change." Chu Tian asked again, "Do you feel that some aspect of your strength has increased?" Meng Qingwu still shook her head. If she had awakened a sword source spirit and could increase the power of her sword, then what did a book source spirit count for? She couldn't use a book to fight. Meng Qingwu could feel that this source spirit did not increase her strength at all. This made Meng Qingwu feel very disappointed. She only felt that it was a waste spirit. There was no value in fighting. Having a source spirit was the same as not having a source spirit. If this wasn't a waste source spirit, then what else could it be? No, any source spirit has a reason to exist. Your source spirit is definitely not a waste source spirit. Chu Tian carefully recalled and suddenly thought of a person. Could it be? While Meng Qingwu was in a daze, Chu Tian wrote a large piece of crooked text on a piece of paper. Then he spread it out for Meng Qingwu to see. "Read these words. Tudan, I love you. Pay." As soon as Meng Qingwu finished reading, she found that something was wrong. Her dignified and beautiful face blushed red and her beautiful eyes popped out as she angrily said, "You dare tease me? I'm not teasing you." Chu Tian suppressed his anger. "Look carefully again." Meng Qingwu looked at the words on the paper and was stunned. "What kind of words are these? I've never seen these words before. Strange, how can I understand their meaning?" "Of course you've never seen them before." Chu Tian crumpled the paper into a ball. "This is the ancient High Elves language." Meng Qingwu felt this was even more inconceivable. Ancient Elven language, how could she read it? Chu Tian continued, "The words you just blurted out were also ancient Elven language, not the continent's language that we use." Meng Qingwu carefully thought about it. The words she just blurted out were indeed not a normal language. It was a strange language that even she felt was strange, but she could still speak it, as if it was engraved in her soul. It was like a reflection. A book source spirit is a very special source spirit. It contains many ancient memories. As the source spirit becomes stronger, more ancient memories will be awakened. Your source spirit will not give you any power, but it will give you something that countless sages dream of. Knowledge. Chu Tian did another experiment. He randomly picked up a book and placed it in front of Meng Qingwu. He stopped at each page for 4-5 seconds and in just a few minutes, he finished reading the entire book. When Chu Tian randomly asked about the details of a certain page or a certain line in the book, Meng Qingwu didn't even know what she was looking at, but she was able to answer it, as if she had already memorized it. As expected, Meng Qingwu did not have a battle-type source spirit. This was a very rare intelligence-type source spirit. Chu Tian's main source spirit also had the ability to forcibly memorize things, allowing him to have a photographic memory. But compared to Meng Qingwu, it really paled in comparison. Meng Qingwu flipped through the book, but she did not know what she was looking at. The book's source spirit had already recorded everything, and when she needed to use this knowledge, it would automatically be sent back to her brain. It could be said, Meng Qingwu was a natural-born scholar. Chu Tian was very satisfied with this. Chu Tian's knowledge was too rich and it surpassed the modern era by tens of thousands of years. If he took it out, it would be impossible for others to understand. If there was one person in this world that could learn knowledge from Chu Tian, that person would be Meng Qingwu. This source spirit was too good. It made Chu Tian a little jealous. This made Chu Tian even more determined to train Meng Qingwu. Not to mention other things, Meng Qingwu's book source spirit contained ancient memories. The stronger she became, the more memories she would awaken. Perhaps even memories from the great ancient era would appear. Chu Tian had knowledge that was 30,000 years ahead of time. Meng Qingwu had memories from the ancient era. This kind of combination was unprecedented. What kind of chemical reaction it would produce was something people were looking forward to. Meng Qingwu said, "Yingying's cultivation base is lower than ours. I'm afraid it will take a while for her to break through to the 9th body refinement layer. A few more days isn't a problem. I've decided to directly attack the awakened soul realm." Chu Tian paused before continuing. "This time I brought back the most important materials are the 3 infant soul fruits. The infant soul fruits can be refined into the infant soul pill, which is enough for us to break through to the awakened soul realm. 3 infant soul fruits, 1 for each person." The materials for the infant soul pill were very expensive. However, other than the main infant soul fruit, the rest were not hard to buy. Chapter 92. Meng Qingwu made a list of supplementary materials for the infant soul pill and began to purchase them from all over Central State. These materials were not as rare as the infant soul fruit, but they were still elixir-grade materials. She needed a bit of time. One more step. Just one more step. Once the awakened soul pill was refined, Chu Tian was confident he could break through the bottleneck in front of him and become an awakened soul cultivator respected by tens of thousands of people. His source spirit would completely awaken. His battle strength would increase by more than 10 times. This was not only related to the strength and stability of miracle commerce, it was also related to Chu Tian's life and death. So in order to quickly collect the materials, miracle commerce used all of its power. Xiong Tianyan and Zhang Liqing used all of their connections and Nangong Yi also used their family channels to collect. In just 3 days, half of it had been collected. This efficiency was not bad. However, Chu Tian did not want to just wait in the city. With a few days of idle time, it was enough for him to complete another important matter. He made a very important decision. He would buy the meteor grass basin for miracle commerce. Meteor grass was an important cultivation resource. Although this thing wasn't a spiritual medicine, due to its long growth period and harsh environmental requirements, it could be considered a rare medicinal herb. Every time it was used, there would be less of it. If it was purchased a day earlier, it could reduce the loss of meteor grass. Miracle Commerce's financial situation was far from being able to buy the basin. However, with the large amount of money from the black market, it was enough to pay the deposit. Chu Tian's idea was to first reserve the basin to prevent meteor grass from being lost. Chu Tian was confident that before the final settlement, he would be able to earn the remaining money and complete the transaction. Money itself was just a worldly possession. It was a stepping stone to achieving one's cultivation goal. To become stronger, to become a cultivation material. No matter how much money was spent, it was worth it. Meng Qingwu was not too surprised. Chu Tian had already proposed a purchase plan and she had started preparing half a month ago. She had already done her homework. This meteor grass basin was the property of a company called Tianshan Chamber of Commerce. This Chamber of Commerce was a large chamber of commerce that belonged to a business family in the central province. Their business was spread all over southern Xia. They specialized in all kinds of raw materials and had a high influence. The meteor basin had been developed for 8 years, but in reality, it wasn't very profitable. Because the meteor grass's medicinal effect was to treat the muscle and bone injuries of low-level cultivators, there were many other materials with similar effects. Because of this, the meteor grass was relatively more replaceable. Because of this, the meteor grass was not that affordable, causing the sales volume to not be very high. Moreover, after 8 years of continuous mining, the value of the basin had gradually declined. Most of the meteor grass from previous years had been harvested, and the quality of the artificially cultivated ones was greatly reduced. This also meant that as long as the price was reasonable, it was completely possible to buy it. Meng Qingwu secretly sent out a letter of intent to purchase the resource site. She did not expect the other party to reply so quickly. 1. Agree to negotiate the sale. 2. The negotiation will take place in 3 days. 3. The location will be the hidden sound town near the basin. The Miracle Commerce chairman must be present. Tianshan Chamber of Commerce's straightforwardness made the two of them excited. Since Chu Tian had nothing to do in South Sky City, he might as well personally participate in the negotiations. Hidden Sound Town, 600 miles from South Sky City. The town had a population of over 100,000 people. It was around the same size as the Een Corpse Valley's Black Stone Town. Hidden Sound Town was an important material transfer point. Because around the town, there were many resource sites. Among them, the meteor grass basin was only one of the common resource sites. Meng Qingwu studied the terrain and the other party's background. After confirming the safety of the meeting, she followed Chu Tian and drove to the negotiation location. On this day, the sun was shining brightly. The bronze bull carriage majestically drove on the wide road. When the people on the road saw it, they all moved out of the way. The 18 black-robed people followed behind the beast carriage, not making a sound. They followed it at a moderate speed, as if they would never get tired. Stop! Rest for a moment. The bronze barbaric bull slowed down. Chu Tian walked out of the carriage in his blue robe, turning his head to invite them in. Meng Qingwu walked out. She was wearing a dignified snow-white robe, her jet black hair was carefully combed, her white jade-like cheeks had a slight blush. At this time, a gentle breeze blew past. Meng Qingwu's snow-white dress fluttered, faintly revealing a pure white jade leg. A strand of her jet black hair was blown across her face, gently brushing it aside with her jade fingers. In that moment of grace, it made people feel dazzled. Meng Qingwu pretended not to notice Chu Tian's gaze. Her autumn clear eyes swept across the area. This place is... The two of them were currently standing on top of a basin. When Meng Qingwu looked from afar, her field of view was extremely wide. In front of her was a small basin grassland, with a diameter of 20 li. The interior was very flat, almost like a flat plain. The surrounding cliffs were covered with a delicate white waterfall, constantly pouring into the basin. As the mist rose, it added a bit of immortal aura. White cranes and spirit deer could be seen everywhere, giving off a feeling of paradise. Inside the basin, there was an abundance of water. There were a few meandering rivers, and lush plants grew all over the place. In the center of the basin, there was a man-made walled camp. Inside the walled camp was a well-dug spiritual field. It was estimated that the meteor grass was produced from there. Meng Qingwu revealed a heartfelt smile. So beautiful, if we can negotiate, will this place belong to us? Chu Tian looked at Meng Qingwu. He suddenly felt that this woman did not have an easy life. At the age of 16, she had managed her family's business in a time of crisis. In a woman's most innocent age, she had suffered from the evil side of human nature, living a life of scheming every day. There was not a single day where she could have a good night's sleep, and there was not a single day where she could enjoy life in peace. Meng Qingwu turned her face away. What are you looking at? Chu Tian directly said, the young miss is very beautiful when she smiles. You should smile more. Who would have thought that Meng Qingwu's face would turn red and her smile would turn stiff? She immediately put on a serious face and said, if you keep being this frivolous, I won't care about you. Do you think I'm as easy to trick as Yingying? Chu Tian was instantly embarrassed. This woman really didn't know what was good for her. How did a few words of praise become frivolous? The little fox sat on Chu Tian's shoulder and held its stomach as it laughed. You dare laugh at me? Watch me hit you. The little fox jumped down and landed on Meng Qingwu's shoulder. It stretched out its 2 claws and stuck out its tongue, making a face at Chu Tian. Little rascal! Eat my food and drink my food. Now you don't even put me, your master, in your eyes. Chu Tian was so angry that he wanted to teach it a lesson. Who would have thought that he would be glared at by Meng Qingwu? What are you doing? A grown man throwing his temper at a little animal, you really don't have any self-restraint. The little fox nodded its head. In its watery eyes, it squeezed out a stream of tears, looking very pitiful. My young miss? Chu Tian pointed at the sly little thing. Do you really think this fellow is a little animal? Don't you know that 1 or 2 days of its food is equivalent to 1 month of our cultivation? I'm almost going broke because of it. Where did this little critter come from? Actually, Meng Qingwu was very confused. Meng Qingwu could see that this cute little fox was not a normal spirit beast. Even if a normal spirit beast had a high IQ, how could it be as intelligent as this little fox? Even if it was the legendary dragon race, when it was just born, its IQ was not high. Meng Qingwu rubbed the little fox's furry head. The little fox did not move at all. Instead it rubbed its head, looking very obedient. This made Meng Qingwu like it more and more. You're not allowed to bully it. Chu Tian cried out that he was wrongly accused. This little thing was very clever. Not being bullied by it was already not bad. I've already seen it. Meng Qingwu said, let's get on the carriage. For such an important negotiation, I can't be late. The little fox jumped back onto Chu Tian's shoulder, acting as if nothing had happened. The bronze bull began to move forward, pulling the heavy carriage, slowly heading towards the small town. The carriage continued to shake. Meng Qingwu wanted to negotiate. Chu Tian saw that the atmosphere was a bit heavy, so he took the initiative to ask, does young miss know about Hidden Sound Town, the origin of the 2 words hidden sound? How could I not know? Meng Qingwu was a bit stunned, then she calmly said, in the mountains near Hidden Sound Town, there are many strange things that can't be explained. For example, you can suddenly hear thousands of horses galloping past, you can suddenly hear the roars of demon beasts, and sometimes you can even hear people talking. Although there are many strange things happening, there is no danger, so people call this place Hidden Sound Town, a place that can hide sounds. Chu Tian nodded. Meng Qingwu continued to say, in the early years, large amounts of scholars came to investigate and found out the general reason. There is a very special material here. This material can absorb sound and even release it. Currently, the ore has already been mined and array masters often use it to arrange illusion arrays, but it is not very valuable. Chu Tian revealed a mysterious smile. This stone's use is not just for simple illusion arrays. Meng Qingwu's heart slightly skipped a beat. She naturally knew that Chu Tian's words had a hidden meaning. However, before Meng Qingwu could ask, the bronze bull carriage suddenly slowed down. We've arrived at Hidden Sound Town. Let's get off. Chu Tian was the first to jump off the carriage. Hidden Sound Town was around the same size as Black Stone Town, but the town's planning was several times better. This was after all a town in the center of Central State. Moreover, it was surrounded by resources, not like Black Stone Town, which was on the edge and was close to the dangerous Een Corpse Valley and the black market. At the appointed location, over 100 elite silver-armored warriors surrounded the area. Each one of them had a treasure sword engraved with runes. On the roofs and windows of the surrounding houses, there were guards holding bows and arrows. Truly cautious. Are you two people from Miracle Commerce? A large man walked over. I am Tianshan Chamber of Commerce's guard Deacon Jing Hu, please. Jing Hu was an awakened soul cultivator. A deacon had this kind of high strength. The surrounding guards were all 80 to 90% body refinement realm experts. Truly worthy of being a large chamber of commerce, this kind of scene and lineup was not something a normal force could achieve. Chu Tian was dressed in a blue robe and Meng Qingwu was dressed in a snow-white robe, with 18 black-robed corpse soldiers following behind them. The order of the troops was very clear. The two of them walked to an open-air tea house. Jing Hu stood outside. There was an old and a young man sitting in front of them. Chapter 93. The young man was dressed in a fine blue silk robe with elegant bamboo leaf patterns embroidered on the snow-white edge. He wore a beautiful suet jade hairpin on his head and held an ebony silk folding fan in his hand. On the table was a precious sword inlaid with jewels. It had a gaudy and gorgeous appearance and was a typical image of a noble young master. This young man should not be the main character. Chu Tian looked at the hale and hearty white-haired old man next to him. His eyes were filled with kindness, and he was dressed very casually, as if he was harmless to humans and animals. However, his eyes revealed a trace of cunning. When he looked at Chu Tian, it was as if he had found a gold mine. But the fan was gently closed. The blue-clothed young man stood up and bowed slightly with cupped hands as he said, I never would have thought that the chairman of Miracle Commerce would be such a beautiful young miss. This one is Jing Hao, the young chairman of Tianshan Chamber of Commerce. The blue-clothed young man looked over Meng Qingwu and his eyes revealed a trace of surprise. This is my uncle Jing Xian, the vice chairman of Tianshan Chamber of Commerce. Really useless. This brat's eyes almost popped out when he saw a beautiful woman. How could he be someone who did great things? He looked like a second-generation young master. Chu Tian coughed. Jing Hao finally noticed Chu Tian. He was wearing a simple blue robe and had an ancient sword wrapped in cloth on his back, most likely a bodyguard. Forgive me for speaking bluntly, but how could a fairy-like person like Meng Qingwu bring such a tacky bodyguard? He really doesn't match the elegance of Chairman Meng Qingwu. How don't be rude. The old man put down the jade teacup. Although he said this, his tone did not seem to blame them. He probably felt that Tianshan Commerce was a large company. For them to give face and negotiate with a small company like this was already giving them a lot of face. This is not a servant, but rather the chairman of Miracle Commerce, Chu Tian. Chu Tian pretended not to hear it. Who knew if these two fellows were putting on a show? This old man has heard a little about guild leader Chu. Jing Xian had a thought-provoking smile. Your distinguished self is not in Central State City, yet you've made a name for yourself. Truly a young hero. Really? His information was still incomplete. If he knew what Chu Tian had done recently, he wouldn't have spoken to him in such a tone. Jing Hao revealed a look of disbelief. Then young Miss Meng Qingwu. Meng Qingwu faintly replied, I am the vice chairman of Miracle Commerce. This time, I am accompanying the chairman to negotiate. This kid isn't even 20 years old? He would be the president of Miracle Commerce. He had such a stunning beauty by his side. This was enough to make any man jealous. Jing Hao didn't say anything on the surface, but he already didn't like Chu Tian. Chu Tian expressed that he could understand. Imagine meeting someone who was born lower than you, but was more handsome than you, younger than you, more accomplished than you, stronger than you, and also had the company of a top-quality beauty. If it was Chu Tian, he would also be jealous. Chu Tian sat down without any politeness. Let's talk about the important matter. The two black-robed corpse soldiers were like statues, standing straight behind him. They were as silent as a rock. Good. Then let's go straight to the topic. Jing Xian said in a calm voice, "It seems like Miracle Commerce has been buying large amounts of meteor grass several times, and each time the quantity is larger than the last. Now they want to buy the production area. It seems like their demand for meteor grass is truly insatiable." The negotiations hadn't even begun and the old fox had already said this. He just wanted to put the Tianshan Chamber of Commerce in a more active position. Chu Tian didn't like to waste time, so he directly said, "There's no need to say anything else. Miracle Commerce really does care about the meteor grass production area, so please give me a price." Jing Xian was a bit stunned. Jing Hao directly gave a price from the side. One price. 100 million gold coins. 100 million? Wasn't this nonsense? There wasn't much meteor grass left in the meteor grass basin. The entire basin was worth at most 20-30 million gold coins. This fellow immediately gave a price of 100 million. He was simply crazy. Not to mention a small company like Miracle Commerce, even his Tianshan Chamber of Commerce wouldn't be able to take out 100 million. Asking for such an exorbitant price, Meng Qingwu was a bit unhappy. She said, "I've already looked into it. The meteor grass brings us only 2 million gold coins in profit each year. Now that there is less and less high-quality meteor grass, the profit is decreasing year by year. Asking for this price, isn't it too insincere?" Chu Tian gave a cold smile. 100 million? Fuck you. Do you think this father's family has a gold mine? The value of your entire Tianshan Chamber of Commerce isn't much higher than this number. Jing Xian pretended not to hear this. Miracle Commerce needed the meteor grass basin so urgently, they must have a reason. 100 million gold coins was not enough, it was just used to raise their confidence. Jing Hao coldly said, "I said 100 million, so it's 100 million. Moreover, it has to be paid in one go." Meng Qingwu was a bit angry and immediately stood up. "You don't have any sincerity at all. Why did you send out this invitation?" A little fox jumped onto the tea table. It fiercely spat out a mouthful of saliva, expressing its protest to Jing Hao. It was very clear on the concept of 100 million gold coins. How many delicious things could it buy? Jing Xian revealed an interested look. "Your spirit beast is very intelligent. It could be the descendant of an ancient beast. How about you sell it to us? The price can be discussed." This little fox doesn't look like a high-level species. Even if it really is the descendant of an ancient demon beast, its bloodline should be very thin. At most it's worth a few 100,000 gold coins. Jing Hao looked at it and snorted. "Tianshan Chamber of Commerce won't bother with you, it'll be 10 million gold coins. If you pay another 90 million, then you can buy the basin." The little fox angrily bared its teeth and its snow-white fur stood up. "We can't accept your conditions." Meng Qingwu was already not lightly angered. She had thought that this would be a good negotiation, but who would have thought that these two fellows would travel thousands of miles to meet them without any intentions of selling them out? Since Tianshan Chamber of Commerce doesn't have any sincerity, Miracle Commerce can only give up with regret. "Chudun, let's go." Jing Hao suddenly shouted, "Young Miss Meng, please wait." Meng Qingwu was stunned. Jing Hao said with a sinister face, "We have another plan. You don't need to pay a single gold coin and you can obtain the entire resource field." From the beginning until now, Chu Tian sat in his seat, not moving at all. Even his expression did not change as he coldly watched their performance. Meng Qingwu's black brows slightly knit. It was impossible for these profiteers to suffer a loss. Who knew what kind of excessive request they would make? She didn't even want to hear it. Jing Hao laughed and said, "You don't need to pay a single gold coin to take the entire basin. The condition is that you accept our 5 million gold coins and buy 60% of Miracle Commerce's shares. Moreover, you have this waste scram and I'll be the chairman." A basin that was becoming increasingly sparse in resources for miracle commerce? Was there a more shameless request in this world? This was not a negotiation. This was simply extortion. Meng Qingwu did not want to listen to them anymore. Chu Tian, let's go. Several guards from Tianshan Chamber of Commerce blocked their way, not letting them leave. Meng Qingwu's face slightly changed. What do you mean? Miracle Commerce sent a letter saying that they want to buy the resource field and you want to leave without even saying a few words. Could it be that you're playing with our Tianshan Chamber of Commerce? Do you know that every minute we waste is a loss of tens of thousands of gold coins? You can even say this kind of shameless words. Jing Hao coldly said, "You want to leave? Fine. Compensate us for our losses. It's not much, just 10 million gold coins." At this time, Chu Tian suddenly gave a few loud laughs. He pulled Meng Qingwu back to her seat. "Young miss, don't be angry." Meng Qingwu was speechless. "You can still laugh. I wanted to use the traditional way to discuss business, but the most important thing in interacting with people is to seek common ground. Since Tianshan Chamber of Commerce doesn't like this method, we might as well follow their rules." When Chu Tian said this, he personally stood up and laughed as he asked, "You too, are you determined to forcefully buy and sell, trying to gain something for nothing?" Tianshan Chamber of Commerce's intelligence network was not bad. They had their eyes on the fat piece of meat that was miracle commerce. This negotiation was just a pretense. Tianshan Chamber of Commerce was a large company with several 100 million gold coins in assets, but they had reached a bottleneck and needed to expand into new areas. Miracle Commerce's new technology was what they dreamed of. Of course, Tianshan Chamber of Commerce did not know about the large matter that had happened in South Sky City a few days ago. Because of this, Jing Hao had no fear. "I advise you to be tactful." He disagreed with Chu Tian. Forcefully buying and selling is giving you face. In this era where the strong eat the weak, the strong don't need a reason to swallow the weak. A company that has only been established for a few days can be sold for a good price. What else is there to be dissatisfied with? Forcefully buying and selling is giving face? What kind of bastard logic was this? How strong is Tianshan Chamber of Commerce? With this kind of backing in front of you. Jing Hao said with a face of arrogance, "This is a great honor for miracle commerce. This is a great opportunity for you. I advise you to grasp this opportunity, otherwise you'll regret it." Chu Tian was not angry. "Really? What do you plan on doing? Don't pretend to be stupid. My patience has a limit. Without a foundation and a weak background, you'll only be lucky enough to develop 1 or 2 new technologies." Jing Hao slapped the table and stood up. "If we forcefully take it, do you dare fart? Since you don't have the strength, don't be so shameless." "Well said." Chu Tian narrowed his eyes and a cold glow flashed in his eyes. "I agree with your words." Jing Hao was stunned. Had this brat gone crazy? "How don't speak nonsense." Jing Hao was almost done speaking when Jing Xian finally spoke up. These two fellows, one red-faced and one white-faced, had a very clear division of labor. Jing Xian was very clear on their goal this time. If they could reach their goal through negotiation, that would be the best, but if they couldn't solve it peacefully, Tianshan Chamber of Commerce did not recommend using special methods. Jing Xian sincerely said, "Tianshan Chamber of Commerce is sincere in cooperating. To express our sincerity, we are willing to pay 10 million gold coins to buy miracle commerce. This price is very fair for miracle commerce." Coercion and temptation. They really came prepared. 10 million gold coins was enough to make any small company dizzy. But with a trivial 10 million gold coins, they wanted to buy miracle commerce's limitless future? Meng Qingwu was very angry. What was the difference between this and robbery? Tianshan Chamber of Commerce was using negotiation as a pretense, but they actually did this kind of despicable thing. Shouldn't merchants be honest and righteous? Wasn't Tianshan Chamber of Commerce afraid of being despised by others? Chu Tian calmly took a sip of tea. "What if I don't agree?" "Don't agree?" Jing Hao looked around. "Look around first. This isn't up to you." Tianshan Commerce's 100 elite guards were currently holding onto their weapons with a murderous aura. They had a tacit understanding as they slowly gathered together, releasing a strong pressure on them. Seeing this, Chu Tian revealed a faint smile. This is a bit interesting. Chapter 94. No wonder Tianshan Chamber of Commerce had brought this many guards. This so-called business negotiation had an ulterior motive from the beginning. Such a strong killing intent. Chu Tian leisurely sipped his tea, as if he was very calm. He looked at the hundreds of Tianshan Chamber of Commerce guards as if they were nothing. Your Excellency is very confident. Are you sure that Tianshan Chamber of Commerce is stronger than Miracle Commerce? I don't think it is. These words came out. Jing Xian and Jing Hao were speechless. This kind of words was simply a joke. This Chu Tian must be a frog at the bottom of a well. How strong could a family be in a place like South Sky City? A newly established company, what kind of experts could they have? Why don't we have a spar? Chu Tian put down the teacup and gently tapped the table. You can pick the people I brought. As long as you can beat any one of them, I'll accept your conditions. Otherwise, I'll use my own methods. You're tired of living. The guards of Tianshan Chamber of Commerce are all old soldiers and mercenaries. Each one of them is the elite of the elite. What do you have to compete with us? It doesn't matter who's strong and who's weak. You'll only know after fighting with real swords and spears. You won't shed a tear until you see the coffin? Then I'll help you. Jing Hao shouted. Jing Hu. The captain of the guards, Jing Hu, ran over. Please give your orders, young chairman. A few small city bumpkins don't have eyes and actually want to challenge Tianshan Chamber of Commerce. What do you think we should do? This lowly officer will give them a lesson. Go, there's no need to be lenient. Yes. Jing Hu swaggered over and looked at Chu Tian with ridicule in his eyes. Then he swept his eyes over the people he brought. 18 black-robed people stood there, not releasing a single bit of aura. Their chests did not move at all, as if they did not need to breathe. They were simply like 18 pieces of stone. It was really strange. The feeling they gave off was basically the same. It was impossible to tell who was stronger and who was weaker. Jing Hu did not know who to choose, but he was not afraid. As the vice chairman's personal guard, he had the strength of a first awakened soul layer cultivator. He did not believe that a guard from a small company in a small city would be able to compete with him. Are you guys going to come one by one or all at once? Jing Hu proudly drew out the saber on his waist and shouted, Let the strongest one come out first. Our time is precious. Let's finish him off quickly. Chu Tian's lips curled into a smile. Why would I need to dispatch my strongest bodyguard to deal with you? The weakest one is enough. There was no warning. The bell rang softly. A black-robed man suddenly shot out from behind. It was too sudden and too strange. There were no elemental energy undulations, and it was as if there were springs installed on the soles of his feet. The black-clothed man charged forward at high speed, his body remaining motionless. At first glance, it seemed as if he was moving at an unbelievable speed. A black mist was rapidly spouted out from his body, and a terrifying and powerful aura immediately enveloped the surroundings. Jing Hu was shocked. How could this be? In his panic, he sent out a sharp saber light. Fear. The black-clothed man sent out a palm strike, and the terrifying strength sent the saber flying. It stabbed into the wall, and the saber began to hum and tremble. Black-een corpses, impenetrable, hard as iron. Jing Hu's brain did not even have time to react. He could only watch as the black-clothed man's hands gathered a large amount of black mist. His entire palm turned pitch black and was filled with a strong death aura. It was filled with a fierce aura as it charged forward. This is bad. Jing Hu braced himself and waved his palm to block it. The surging strength spread out and the surrounding tables and chairs were all shattered. Jing Hu spat out a mouthful of blood as he smashed into a wall. His body was covered in a black aura as he fainted on the spot. One strike. The black-clothed man only used one strike. Jing Hu was the personal guard of the Tianshan Chamber of Commerce's vice chairman. He couldn't even block a single palm from this black-clothed man. After the black-clothed man took care of Jing Hu, he immediately returned to Chu Tian's side. He did not say a single word from beginning to end. He was like a statue that stood firm, as if he had not made a move at all. Truly disappointing. Chu Tian's eyes gradually turned ice cold, as sharp as an eagle's. With this bit of dog shit strength, you dare to speak nonsense in front of father. With this bit of dog shit strength, you dare to threaten father. Who is the one that is tired of living? Chu Tian seemed like he had changed into a different person. That terrifying aura was released like a tsunami, making the two of them feel a chill in their hearts. Defeating Jing Hu with a single palm, there was no suspense at all. This black-clothed man was at least at the second awakened soul layer. The 18 black-clothed people, whether it was their aura or their clothes, they were all the same. Could it be? These 18 people were all awakened soul cultivators? Jing Xian broke out in a cold sweat. They wouldn't have kicked an iron plate this time, right? Was this group of monsters something they could provoke? Absolutely not. With 18 awakened soul cultivators as personal guards, even a main city's mayor would not be able to do this. Chu Tian was just the founder of a small city's company. How could he win over this many experts? Such a vicious and evil palm technique. Jing Hao angrily stood up. Martial artists should fight fair and square, but you actually used poison to harm Jing Hu. This is simply shameless and despicable to the extreme. This result, I won't accept it. Chu Tian coldly said, there are countless martial arts in the world, who said that a poisonous palm technique is a despicable technique. Acting like a fool after losing, is this the attitude of the Tianshan Chamber of Commerce? This match doesn't count. If you have the skills, then let's have another match. Meng Qingwu angrily said, a loss is a loss. You're publicly going back on your words. Why would Miracle Commerce be afraid of a challenge? If they want to compete again, then we'll give them another chance. Chu Tian was not afraid at all. How do you want to challenge me this time? I'll personally do it. Jing Hao's eyes flashed with a sinister light. I ask young Miss Meng Qingwu to fight with me. Meng Qingwu was a woman, and she had been in charge of the company for a long time at such a young age. This kind of person clearly did not have a strong strength. Meng Qingwu's expression changed. You? What? A certain person has personally said that the people he brought can be casually challenged. Jing Hao took the initiative and interrupted Meng Qingwu. The guards are people he brought, but isn't young Miss Meng Qingwu one as well? Jing Hao seized the loophole in Chu Tian's words to make things difficult for Miracle Commerce. Ha, ha, ha ha. Young Master Jing Hao's ability to judge the situation is truly a businessman's talent for shamelessness. This is something that Chu Tian admires. Jing Hao's face turned cold. If you're afraid, then obediently sign the contract. Otherwise, a beauty like young Miss Meng Qingwu will be injured. Remember this. My Miracle Commerce does not have trash and does not have a pretty face. Chu Tian did not buy this. Since he's sincerely challenging me, young Miss should properly teach him a lesson. Meng Qingwu's face was filled with hesitation. I don't have any battle experience. When Jing Hao heard this, he was overjoyed. That would be for the best. Jing Hao was a bit weaker than Jing Hu, but he was still at the peak 9th body refinement layer. Chu Tian encouraged the young miss, I believe in you. Go and give it a try. Jing Hao looked at Meng Qingwu's beautiful figure and his heart was filled with pride. She's just a young girl that grew up in a small city. How could I not be able to deal with her? If Meng Qingwu really was strong, then her name would have already spread throughout Central State. But in South Sky City, she had always been bullied, so how could she be strong? This match was already won. Young Miss Meng, be careful. Jing Hao pulled out a short sword and stabbed forward. Countless starlights seeped out and surrounded her body. When the short sword touched it, it bounced back with a ding sound. Jing Hao staggered back a few steps. Looking at Meng Qingwu, who was covered in light, he revealed a look of surprise. Such a strong defense. Jing Hao and his nephew could see that Meng Qingwu's cultivation base was higher than they had imagined. It was almost on par with Jing Hao, and she also practiced a strong defensive cultivation technique. How could this girl be this strong? This was impossible. It didn't make sense. Today was really strange. Chu Tian lightly said, I've said before, Miracle Commerce does not have trash and does not have a pretty face. Our young miss is the vice chairman, a peerless beauty that will shine for thousands of years. How could a random dog or cat compare to her? Random dog or cat? You actually called me a random dog or cat. Jing Hao angrily roared out a few times and slashed out several times. Ding 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 ding. Without exception, they were all bounced back. There was not a single weak spot on Meng Qingwu's body. No matter how Jing Hao attacked, it was useless. On Meng Qingwu's gentle face, she couldn't help revealing a smile. Her heart was filled with joy. She didn't even know that she had become this strong. Meng Qingwu had a hidden injury since she was a child. Whenever she used spirit energy, it would be hard to endure the pain. At that time, not to mention fighting, every night, her meridians would hurt and she wouldn't be able to sleep. But now, Meng Qingwu wasn't as abnormal as Chu Tian or Nangong Yun, who could jump levels like drinking water, but she could still sweep over 90% of geniuses at the same level. All of this. It was like a dream. I say, young miss, are you a blockhead? Chu Tian drank a mouthful of tea and impatiently shouted, why don't you fight back? Meng Qingwu panicked, but I don't know how to fight. His lower body isn't stable. Meng Qingwu reflexively kicked out, hitting his crotch. Jing Hao's face turned green as he was kicked to the ground. The little fox excitedly clapped with its claws. Chu Tian also began to laugh. Ha! Beautiful! What a good move to cut off one's descendants. It's just lacking a bit of strength. How were the man and beast watching a match? They were just watching a play. Jing Hao's eyes popped out as he angrily roared, you're going too far? Chu Tian loudly shouted, punch his face with your right hand. Meng Qingwu was like a puppet, being completely controlled by Chu Tian. She immediately sent a punch at Jing Hao's face. Jing Hao charged over at this time, making people feel like he was delivering his own face. Blood flew out from his nose. Jing Hao once again fell to the ground. You can't. Chu Tian was like a strict teacher. How can you be so stupid? Your method of exerting strength is very scattered. You have to combine your body and essence energy, connecting your internal and external energy together to release your strongest strength. Do it again. Even a fool could see it. Meng Qingwu was clearly a person without any battle experience. But this person without any battle experience, under Chu Tian's guidance, was becoming more and more proficient. The more they fought, the easier it became for Jing Hao to fight back. Incredible! Unimaginable! Not only could Chu Tian give Meng Qingwu proper guidance, he could also easily see through Jing Hao's weaknesses. He was able to make a person without any battle experience beat Jing Hao to the point where he couldn't fight back. Was this a person or a ghost? Jing Xian felt a chill run down his spine. No matter how strong Chu Tian was, his eyes were at least at the level of a great master. If this continued, Jing Hao would lose without a doubt. He quickly stood up. Hao, don't lose your mind. Use the frost sword to deal with him. Jing Hao was already confused from his anger. This girl was clearly a novice without any battle experience, but she was able to force him to this point. He had suffered at least 8-9 punches and his face was swollen like a pig's head. Enough. A short sword had large amounts of glowing runes on it. This was clearly a very strong spirit weapon. A cold frost spread out, covering the surrounding area in a layer of frost. So what if your defense is strong? Jing Hao's bruised face was filled with a fierce expression. He held the cold sword in his hand. Once my frost sword hits you, you will instantly turn into an ice sculpture. I want to see how you'll fight against me. Meng Qingwu's heart turned cold. Jing Hao still had a hidden card. This sword was not simple. How should she deal with it? Chapter 95. The frost sword released a stronger and stronger energy. Jing Hao's face was filled with ruthlessness. Meng Qingwu, don't be so stubborn. If you're willing to follow me, I'll keep your shares and let you continue being the vice chairman. Otherwise, don't blame me for destroying a flower. Meng Qingwu was as cold as ice. Even if I die, I won't submit to a person like you. Young miss, well said. Chu Tian lightly said, but you have to believe in yourself. You're much stronger than him. This level of attack is nothing. All right, don't waste any more time. Directly kill him. Really? I'm really stronger than him? Meng Qingwu's strength had increased too quickly recently, so she lacked a clear understanding of herself. She didn't even know how strong she was. Chu Tian would not lie to me. If he says I'm stronger than him, then I'm definitely stronger than him. Meng Qingwu's serious expression disappeared and was replaced with a relaxed and disdainful look. The change in Meng Qingwu's expression made Jing Hao feel like he was being looked down upon. His self-esteem had been completely destroyed and he could no longer hold it in as he angrily roared, seeking death. I'll help you. The cold sword was ruthlessly thrust forward. Countless starlights spilled out and condensed together like glass. That bone-chilling cold air had no way of penetrating the glass defense. Chu Tian nodded his head in satisfaction seeing this. To be able to condense the glass body in such a short time, the young Miss Starlight immortal body was not bad. That strong starlight energy exploded. But the short sword shattered on the spot. The ice energy lost its host and immediately counterattacked. Jing Hao's eyes opened wide and he shouted out in fear. He turned around to escape, but it was already too late. The ice energy bounced back and swallowed Jing Hao's body, turning him into an ice sculpture. Meng Qingwu was at the peak 9th body refinement layer like him. Moreover, because of the starlight immortal body, Jing Hao was not a match for Meng Qingwu at all. Even if he had a weapon advantage, it was the same. How? Jing Xian was shocked and knew that the situation was bad. These bastards are trying to kill the young chairman. But the teacup fell to the ground. It was smashed into smithereens. This was Jing Xian's secret signal. As soon as the negotiations broke down, he would break the teacup. Then the people lying in ambush would immediately rush forward and capture Chu Tian alive before he could react. At this moment, it was impossible for negotiations to succeed, so they would use force to solve it. A total of 100 or 200 elite guards couldn't deal with these people. Jing Xian didn't believe it. When the secret signal of smashing the cup was sent out. So. Countless arrows were shot from all directions. Haha, you can't beat me one-on-one, so you use numbers to suppress me? Chu Tian picked up the bell and shook it gently. You really did something stupid. Let this group of true country bumpkins open their eyes and witness the true strength of my miracle commerce. The 18 black-clothed men swept out like a gust of wind. It was only for a moment. All the arrows were knocked down. The 18 figures turned into 18 afterimages and dashed out at a speed that was hard to see with the naked eye. The people from the Tianjin Chamber of Commerce were scared silly. No way. This isn't a fucking nightmare, right? The 18 black-clothed men were like tigers pouncing on their prey. They suddenly charged into the group of guards and the sound of bones breaking filled the air. Ah! Save me! I surrender! I surrender! Jing Xian had never seen this kind of scene before. He was so scared that he began to tremble and his old face revealed a terrified expression. The 18 black-clothed men all had the strength of an awakened soul cultivator and the weakest was at the second awakened soul layer. This move did not have any suspense at all. The large amount of elite guards that the Tianjin Chamber of Commerce had brought were instantly knocked to the ground. If they weren't dead, they were crippled as they cried out pitifully. They were all elites that the Tianjin Chamber of Commerce had spent a lot of money to train. If they were all wiped out, how could he explain this to the chairman? Stop. Jing Xian wanted to stand up. We're not talking anymore. Saying this, don't you think it's too late? An ice-cold sword swept over and gently pressed against his neck. Forcefully pressing down, he was forced back into his seat. Come, sit down and have a good talk. Chu Tian sat in his seat without moving. His right hand held the netherworld sword and placed it on the other side's shoulder. Don't blame me for not reminding you. If you move again, you won't be able to keep your dog head. Jing Xian's body stiffened like he was petrified. His face was covered in cold sweat as he said, This old man admits defeat. What do you want? Chu Tian gave Meng Qingwu a look. A heavy bag was thrown onto the table. Chu Tian opened the bag, 500 low-grade source stones. Not only do I want to buy the meteor grass basin, I also want to buy all of your properties around Hidden Sound Town. Not a single strand of hair can be left. The bag was filled with crystal-clear low-grade source stones. Jing Xian was a bit stunned. Source stones? Source stones were a common currency in many parts of the continent. In a country like southern Xia, there were almost no source stone mines, so there were very few people who used source stones to do business. A low-grade source stone was worth at least 10,000 gold coins, but in the black market and the underground market, the price of source stones had doubled. Miracle Commerce was a company established in a small city. How did they have this many source stones? This was clearly not normal. This company was not simple. But they wanted to buy all of Tianjin Chamber of Commerce's assets for just 500 low-grade source stones? Wasn't this extortion robbery? Jing Xian angrily roared out, 500 source stones is worth 5-6 million gold coins on the market. You want to use 5-6 million to buy all of Tianjin Chamber of Commerce's assets? In your dreams. I will not agree. The 500 low-grade source stones were brought back from the black market. Miracle Commerce's account was basically zero. How could they have the ability to gather millions of gold coins? Chu Tian had originally planned to use the 500 source stones as a down payment, waiting for the resources to be delivered before paying the rest. This was also in line with the normal transaction process. Who would have thought that this old fellow had the idea of swallowing Miracle Commerce? You like to play the game of forcing people to buy and sell, right? Father will play with you. Fuck, you still dare to be arrogant like this? Chu Tian did not care that he was an old man. He raised his sleeve and slapped him. Jing Xian fell to the ground, his jaw almost dislocated. No. Jing Xian was like a wretched old worm, wriggling on the ground with difficulty. Chu Tian picked him up and glared at him. He roared fiercely, "Are you going to sell it or not?" Jing Xian's face was swollen. He spat out blood as he shouted, "You're robbing me." What robbing? Do you have any fucking culture? This is called forcing people to buy and sell. Chu Tian slapped the other side of his face. Several of Jing Xian's teeth were knocked out and he spat out blood, looking very distressed. Chu Tian picked him up again and continued to roar, "Forcing people to buy and sell is giving you face. Do you understand? If you don't have the strength, then don't refuse face." This was a double slap to the face. Jing Xian was about to cry from being hit. He completely collapsed. "I'll sell, but can you add a bit more? This amount of money is too little. I really have no way of explaining this to my superiors. The chairman will definitely kill me." "Fuck you, you actually dare complain that it's too little?" Chu Tian threw Jing Xian's old bones onto the ground, letting him lie down next to Jing Hao. "Let me calculate for you. 5-6 million gold coins is not much, but if you add in the lives of your uncle, nephew, and over 100 guards..." Chu Tian gently moved his sword and gently slid it across their necks. The cold intent cut through their skin. This deal is still worth it. His meaning was that if they dared to refuse, these over 100 people would not be able to see tomorrow's sun. The uncle and nephew were trembling in fear. The guards were also covered in a cold sweat. How was he a person? He was simply a demon. His previous harmless appearance was all an act. This bastard, he was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Fuck. Are you mute? Father here has several 100,000 gold coins every minute and I'm wasting my time with you two pieces of trash. If I want the land, I don't want my name. If I want my life, I don't want it. In short, hurry up and choose for yourself. From the killing intent that was being released from Chu Tian's body, he was definitely a ruthless person. It was possible that he would make a move. Jing Xian said with a crying face, "A meteor grass basin is worth at least 20 million and the hidden sound stone mines nearby are all owned by Tianjin Chamber of Commerce. The total value is around 8 million and 10 million. If we sell it for 5 million, how do you want us to explain this to the chairman?" "I don't care about this. We originally wanted to discuss business, but who told you grandsons to only care about strength and not morality? You have wild ambitions and provoked this disaster. All right, do you like strength to talk? Father will talk about strength with you. You?" Chu Tian raised the netherworld sword with both hands. "I'll count to 3. If you don't sign the contract, your head will fall to the ground. 3, 2. What was called spinning a cocoon around oneself? What was called playing with fire and burning oneself? This was a true portrayal of Tianjin Chamber of Commerce. So, I'll sign. He had to save his life first. Jing Xian shouted with a head full of sweat. Chu Tian snorted and said, "You're a cheap wretch. I have to beat you up before you're willing to do something. You really don't know what's good for you. Quickly sign it." Both sides took out the contract and Jing Xian braced himself to sign it. A meteor grass basin and 2 hidden sound stone mines, they would all be given to Miracle Commerce. Jing Xian's heart turned cold, but he had to be careful. He had to save his life first. As long as he could return alive, he would think of a way to mediate and not admit it. Chu Tian put away the contract in satisfaction. Jing Xian helped up the frozen Jing Hao and bowed as he said, "The contract has been signed, can we leave now?" Chu Tian squinted his eyes at him. "You're in such a rush to leave, are you playing tricks on me?" Jing Xian quickly said, I don't dare. Don't dare? I think that once you return, you'll immediately go back on your word and not admit it. Your Tianshan Chamber of Commerce is a large family. The kingdom's laws will definitely interfere. I won't be able to take advantage of you. Chu Tian said with a dark face, I'll lose money and not get the land. Do you think I look like an idiot? You want to play me like a monkey? Jing Xian wanted to open his mouth to explain. Chu Tian quickly took out a black pill and forcefully stuffed it in his mouth. He covered his mouth and made him swallow it. Jing Xian shouted in a panic, "You? What did you give me to eat?" Chu Tian revealed an evil smile. Have you heard of the Black Flame Medicine Master Mo Yen? The Black Flame Medicine Master was one of the most famous alchemists in Central State City. He was especially proficient in refining all kinds of poisons. How could he not know of him? This is the Black Flame Medicine Master's 100-day rotting heart pill. Jing Xian's face turned as white as paper. The 100-day rotting heart pill was famous. Of course he knew of it. This pill contained a heart-corroding poison. Once a person ate it, they would immediately be poisoned. The heart-corroding poison was a poison that had no cure. Even Zhang Liqing could not do anything about it. The heart-corroding poison would not immediately kill people, but it would slowly corrode their heart, making them wish they were dead. After a long period of cruel torture, their heart would rot and they would die. Chu Tian walked in front of Jing Hao, who could not move. He pried open his mouth and threw in a poison pill. These pills were taken from Mo Yan's corpse in the ancient tomb. They didn't think they would be of much use, but now they were being used. The uncle and nephew's faces turned ashen. This time they were really going to die. Don't despair, the heart-corroding poison can be cured. When Chu Tian said this, his voice suddenly changed. From tonight on, be obedient and I will give you the antidote regularly. Otherwise, not only will you not live past 100 days, you will also suffer the pain of 10,000 poisons devouring your heart. Such a vicious brat. He wanted to use a slow poison to control the two of them. Jing Xian angrily roared, Don't even think of treating us like puppets. Even if I die, I won't betray the company. If you have the skills, then kill me. You have quite the backbone? Chu Tian laughed. If you really weren't afraid of death, then you wouldn't have signed the agreement. Don't fucking play dumb with me. Do you believe that I won't cripple you? Jing Xian's body trembled and he said with a dejected face, What do you want us to do? Alright, don't cry like that. I, Chu Tian, am a righteous person that reaches the heavens. Everything I do is based on principles and I seek to win people over with virtue. For things to develop to this point today, I am very regretful. You brought this upon yourselves. Suddenly, his voice changed, but you've gained a blessing in disguise. A blessing in disguise? They had been forced to buy resources. They had been forced to take a slow poison. From beginning to end, it had been a disaster. How could there have been a single blessing? Chu Tian sincerely lectured them. As a person, you can't just look at the gains and losses in front of you, you have to look at the long term. Now that you've been controlled by me, you've become my dogs. But you have to know that if a dog follows the right master, then their days will not be bad. There are many people that want to be my dogs, but I refuse. Do you agree? Jing Xian and Jing Hao were filled with shame and indignation. They had never seen such an insult. They had never seen such an insult. Jing Xian had a crying face as he said, Yes, that's right. The master has meat to eat and the dogs gnaw on the bones. Chu Tian slowly put away his sword. Right now, I suddenly have an idea. I want to discuss another business deal with you. Chapter 96. Jing Xian shouted in a hoarse voice, "It's already hard to explain how you sold the company's resources. Don't even think about getting anything else. Don't think of me as a bad person." Chu Tian patted his shoulder. "You guys were in the wrong first, that's why I did this, but that's a different matter. It's not the same now. I came here with a win-win attitude. I came here to discuss business with you." Win-win cooperation? It would be strange if they believed you. In the eyes of Jing Xian and Jing Hao, Chu Tian was no longer a person, he was simply a greedy and terrifying demon. Meng Qingwu helplessly shook her head on the side. Evil people will be tortured by evil people. Chu Tian was too bad. However, these two fellows weren't anything good either. Only an even more vicious person like Chu Tian would be able to eat them up. "Everyone sit." Chu Tian waved his hand and Meng Qingwu sat down next to him. Jing Xian and Jing Hao trembled in fear, not daring to move. "What?" Chu Tian raised his eyebrows and forcefully slapped the table. "You dare not give me face." "Sit." "I didn't sit." Of the two of them, one was shivering from the cold and the other had a bloody nose and a swollen face. They were in a very sorry state, carefully sitting down, not daring to even touch their buttocks. It was like there was a nail on the chair. "We'll call it even for what just happened." Chu Tian revealed a faint smile. Although the negotiation process was a bit unpleasant, the result is still satisfactory. "Nonsense. How could you not be satisfied? 500 source stones to buy several tens of millions of assets." Chu Tian did not care about the feelings of the two of them as he casually said, "Now I want to discuss a new business deal with you guys. If this deal goes through, I'll have meat to eat and bones for you to chew." How could Jing Xian and Jing Hao believe this demon's words? They had already cursed his 18 generations of ancestors in their hearts. "Take a look." Chu Tian pulled out a large jade bottle and poured out a few pills. "This is called a qi refining pill. It was developed by our company. No matter how bad a person's talent is, after taking a qi refining pill, they will immediately become a body refinement cultivator. There are no side effects and it will take effect instantly." "Really?" Hearing this, Jing Xian's entire body shook. Miracle Commerce had not only achieved success in the field of new technology, but it had also made such a shocking breakthrough in the field of alchemy. Alchemy was different from new techniques. If one wanted to achieve success in alchemy, they would need a very deep foundation. Miracle Commerce was indeed not simple. This time, it was not unjust. Jing Xian suspiciously asked, "What do you want to do?" Chu Tian said, "You should be very clear about the market value of this kind of elixir once it enters the market. As long as it is casually stirred up, it can easily be sold for thousands of gold coins." Not bad. If the effect of the pill was really as Chu Tian said, it was definitely something that the big families would fight over. Great clans would not hesitate to pay any price to nurture outstanding disciples. This kind of pill could save 1 or 2 years of bitter cultivation. Spending 10 or 20,000 gold coins was completely worth it. Chu Tian then said, "The main ingredient of the qi refining pill is the 3 lives demonic insect. Although the 3 lives demonic insect is a relatively rare medicinal ingredient, it is not an elixir that can only be found by luck. Do you know what this means?" Jing Xian's expression changed. "This medicine can be mass-produced." This was simply inconceivable. Most of the elixirs that could increase one's cultivation needed to be refined from elixirs that were rich in vitality. Elixirs needed to grow for hundreds or even thousands of years. It was impossible for humans to cultivate them. Chu Tian had refined quite a few pills to increase his cultivation base. For example, the Source Spirit Pill. For example, the Infant Soul Pill. Although the effects of this pill were very strong, the main ingredients were extremely rare elixirs that could only be found by luck. It was not something that could be bought just because one wanted to. Even if one could buy it at a high price, it was impossible to mass-produce it. Elixirs that could not be mass-produced. Naturally, it was not suitable to be sold in pharmacies. The qi refining pill was different. Although its main ingredients were rare, they could be collected and mass-produced. From a commercial point of view, the value of the Qi refining pill was much higher than the Source Spirit pill and the Infant Soul pill. Miracle Commerce has the method of refining elixirs, but it has not found a suitable source of materials. As Chu Tian said this, he suddenly paused. Tianshan Chamber of Commerce is one of the largest materials companies in southern Xia. I believe that you have the ability to obtain enough ingredients. Jing Xian's heart began to beat wildly. You want to? Chu Tian nodded his head. Let's cooperate. This was definitely a huge business opportunity. Could Chu Tian sincerely cooperate? He had just robbed them of their resources and now the two of them were poisoned. It was almost impossible for them to resist Chu Tian's orders. If Chu Tian wanted them to forcefully transport the materials, they would have no choice but to do so. We can make another agreement. Chu Tian's voice was full of temptation. From tonight onwards, Tianshan Chamber of Commerce will become Miracle Commerce's supplier. Tianshan Chamber of Commerce will enjoy the profits from Miracle Commerce's research and development. If there's money, everyone can earn it together. What do you think? The more materials Tianshan Chamber of Commerce provided, the more pills Miracle Commerce produced. The more pills Miracle Commerce produced, the more returns Tianshan Chamber of Commerce could obtain. Jing Xian felt it was a bit hard to believe. Are you serious? Chu Tian lightly said, I, your father, am a man of my word. I won't go back on my word, unlike you guys. Jing Xian carefully thought for a few seconds. In the current situation, did he have any leeway to refuse? He had to accept it even if he didn't want to. Who told his life to be in the other's hands? Jing Xian felt a deep sense of powerlessness before finally nodding his head. Okay, I am willing to represent Tianshan Chamber of Commerce and become Miracle Commerce's material supplier. Both sides signed a supplier agreement. Chu Tian really did what he said. He didn't squeeze Tianshan Chamber of Commerce anymore. Not only did he purchase the materials according to the market price, he also promised to share a portion of the profits. Jing Xian's mood finally improved a bit. If this cooperation could be carried out smoothly, perhaps he could make up for his mistakes. Chu Tian continued, besides Miracle Commerce needing large amounts of 3 lives demonic insects, I also need to purchase a batch of nether flame grass and electromagnetic crystal stones. Meng Qingwu was slightly stunned. What kind of medicine was Chu Tian selling in his gourd? The 3 lives demonic insect was the main ingredient of the Qi refining pill, so of course it was a strategic material for Miracle Commerce. They would store as much as they could, but what was the use of nether flame grass and electromagnetic crystal stones? Nether flame grass? Electromagnetic crystal stones? Jing Xian revealed an awkward expression. This thing is very rare, so its price is very high. It doesn't have much use normally, so Tianshan Chamber of Commerce doesn't have much in stock. Money, not a single copper coin less. Goods, bring it all to me. Understood? Understood. Chu Tian needed to cultivate the Netherworld Flame Sword first of all. He needed to cultivate the Netherworld Ghost Flame. This nether flame grass was the best material for cultivating the Netherworld Ghost Flame, and it was even more expensive than the meteor grass. As for the electromagnetic crystal stones, of course they had other uses. Chu Tian didn't have the money to pay a down payment, so he didn't plan on paying. I'll pay when the goods arrive. Money for the goods? Jing Xian's old face instantly turned into a bitter gourd. He didn't even pay a down payment? If he was cheated by Miracle Commerce, he wouldn't be able to take back a single copper coin. But what else could he do? Did Jing Xian dare to ask Chu Tian for a down payment? Wasn't that just seeking death? This matter was decided. Both sides had reached an agreement and this matter finally came to an end. This happy negotiation ended here. Tianshan Chamber of Commerce dragged their defeated troops, supporting each other as they left in low spirits. Meng Qingwu watched them leave and couldn't help revealing a faint smile as she said, You really are too ruthless. Chu Tian didn't care as he curled his lips. To deal with this kind of person, you should use this kind of method. But I'm very curious. Meng Qingwu's clear eyes looked over. Since you've already used poison to control them, why do you still want to cooperate fairly with them? Young miss, I'm a virtuous person. I only used poison because I had no other choice. Do you know that my conscience is blaming me? Pay. Get to the point. Ugh. This kind of coercion and extortion can't be done for long. So, I want to give them a bit of sweetness. This way, we can obtain a safe long-term source of materials. This is not a loss for us. This bit of sweetness had to be given. Otherwise, how could he count on them to properly work for Chu Tian? For example, the nether flame grass. If they knew that Chu Tian would trick them, would they still take out all the nether flame grass? Chu Tian continued to cultivate the netherworld ghost flames with the nether flame grass. Otherwise, if he delayed his netherworld flame sword cultivation, it would be a big loss for him. Chu Tian then added, as for the heart-corroding poison, it is just a layer of insurance. There is basically no one in Central State that can cure this poison. With the heart-corroding poison in their bodies, they won't dare play any tricks on us. A strange light flashed in Meng Qingwu's eyes. Kindness and power. Clear reward and punishment. Chu Tian's personality was wild, but his mind was calm. No matter what he did, there would always be a reason. He was clear about kindness and grudges, he was quick to repay kindness and grudges, he was petty at times, he was generous at times, he couldn't tolerate sand in his eyes, but he did things with principles. Contradictory. Very contradictory. What kind of person was this? Meng Qingwu found that the more she understood Chu Tian, the more she couldn't see through him. Young miss, although I'm very handsome, you don't need to stare at me all the time. Meng Qingwu's face turned a bit red as she spat. You think too highly of yourself. Chu Tian laughed. Let's go, let's take a look at our new territory first. The two of them sat in the bronze bull carriage and first came to the meteor grass basin. The meteor grass basin was very large, but the only place that could grow meteor grass was a small area in the center. There were several spirit fields that had been dug out. This meteor was definitely not too large. There wasn't enough foreign materials in it. The meteor grass basin's production was very limited, it could only support the cultivation of a few people in the early stages. They didn't know if this amount of resources would be enough to cultivate the diamond body, but no matter what, they wouldn't need to worry about cultivation materials for the next few months. Good. Good. Chu Tian said good twice. In the meteor grass warehouse, there were a total of 500,000 pieces of finished meteor grass. According to the market price, these 500,000 pieces were worth 5 million gold coins. In addition, there were 2 to 3 million pieces growing in the basin. Let's not talk about how these meteor grass could be used to cultivate. Just using it to temper one's body was an incredible feat. It was enough to build a very solid foundation for everyone. Meteor grass would be called meteorite grass after 30,000 years. Meteorite grass was a body-tempering holy medicine. Its value was 10,000 times higher than it was now. Other than the top families of the continent, who else had the ability to contract an entire medicinal field? With so much meteor grass to temper one's body, the effect was simply unimaginable. Even if one's innate talent was poor, they would definitely become a top genius. Chu Tian felt that he was one step closer to his dream. Meng Qingwu said, "Have you seen enough? We should go back." "What's the hurry?" Chu Tian gave Meng Qingwu a mysterious wink. "This time we've obtained 2 treasures at once. The meteor grass basin is only one of them." Meng Qingwu tried to figure out Chu Tian's words, her black eyebrows slightly wrinkled. "The other one is the hidden sound stone?" Chu Tian snapped his fingers. Young miss is indeed exceptionally smart. No matter what Chu Tian did, he always had clear thoughts and motives. When Chu Tian extorted the Tianshan Chamber of Commerce, Meng Qingwu already had this suspicion in her heart. Chu Tian not only wanted the meteor grass basin, he also took the hidden sound stone mine. Although the mine was very large, but the hidden sound stone was not worth much. Chu Tian was not an insatiably greedy person, choosing to ask for the hidden sound stone mine. There must be a deeper meaning. Could the hidden sound stone have some other special use? Chu Tian brought Meng Qingwu to the mine. This was an open-air mine. The scale was very large. There were several warehouses that slowly piled up large amounts of hidden sound stone. Actually, this was Meng Qingwu's first time seeing this kind of strange material. The hidden sound stone's material was very strange. It was like stone and jade, yet not stone and jade. Holding it in her hand, it felt warm and smooth. Chu Tian picked up a fist-sized hidden sound stone and took out a red crystal stone pen from his chest. In just a few seconds, he drew a simple level 1 array. "What are you doing?" Chu Tian took out the hidden sound stone with the array carved and stuffed it into Meng Qingwu's hands. "First activate the array and try talking to it." Meng Qingwu released her spirit energy and activated the array on it, softly saying, "Hey!" A loud voice reverberated in the warehouse. Meng Qingwu jumped in fright and hurriedly threw the hidden sound stone away. Chu Tian's prank succeeded and he happily laughed. Meng Qingwu came back to her senses after a while and angrily glared at Chu Tian. "What the hell are you doing? This is a sound amplifying array. It needs this kind of material to be effective." Chu Tian picked up the hidden sound stone. When he spoke to the hidden sound stone, his voice was amplified by more than 10 times. It was like a giant beast roaring. "How is it? Very shocking, right?" Meng Qingwu couldn't help nodding her head. "I didn't think a person's voice could be this loud." Chu Tian said, "Actually, the hidden sound stone is a very strange material. It can automatically receive sound waves and can also release sound waves. This is why there are often strange sounds around Hidden Sound Town. This sound amplifying array is only one of the most basic uses of the hidden sound stone. Actually, the value of the hidden sound stone is far beyond what you can imagine. Receive sound waves? Release sound waves? Store sound waves? What can it be changed into?" Chu Tian interrupted Meng Qingwu's thoughts. "This thing is very useful. Let's first load up the cart and return to the city." The two of them carried several boxes of refined hidden sound stones and placed them on the bronze ox cart. The 18 black-robed men each carried several boxes of meteor grass and several boxes of hidden sound stones. This mission had come to an end and the two of them began to drive back to the city. Chapter 97. The sky was overcast. Lone geese circled around and the fragrant grass covered the sky. It was a desolate scene in the wilderness. Jing Xian and Jing Hao's faces were ruined and the guards were all in a sorry state. If they didn't have a broken arm or a broken leg, they had to support each other as they moved forward. It was like they had lost a battle. Jing Xian stopped and his pig-like face turned around. "Everyone listen, this time we sold our family's resources at a low price. When the chairman finds out, he will definitely hold us responsible. If we are light, we will be punished, and if we are heavy, we won't be able to keep our lives. You should know our current situation." Jing Hao gave a heavy sigh. The faces of the 100 guards turned ashen. Jing Xian and Jing Hao were the chairman's little brother and grandson. They would at most be heavily punished. It was impossible for their lives to be in danger. The ones that were truly unlucky were them. Not being able to protect the guards and being humiliated, this was a serious crime that was enough to be sentenced to death. Jing Xian said with a complicated expression, "This matter is a big ordeal for us, but I believe that as long as everyone is united, there will be a way to save it." Jing Hao said in a dejected voice, "Now that it's like this, how can we save it? Are we going to kill our way back to that Chu Tian?" Everyone looked at each other in blank dismay. Wasn't this nonsense? Who was willing to go against that demon? They really wanted to hide as far away as possible. Jing Xian seemed like he had already thought of a method. "We sold the meteor grass basin and the hidden sound stone mine for 5-6 million gold coins. This is an unforgivable method. There is only one method right now. We can hide it." Hide it? How could they hide it? Such a large matter, how could they hide it? Although the hidden sound stone mine has a large reserve, the amount of mining is not large. If we don't report it, the chairman won't know that we sold the mine. Jing Xian's mind continued to turn as he thought of a way to avoid punishment. As for the meteor grass basin, it was originally worth around 20-30 million gold coins. We only sold it for 5-6 million gold coins, which is a large loss for the company. We can only think of a way to make up for the rest. Everyone looked at each other in blank dismay. Jing Xian's meaning could not be clearer. Since they didn't have enough money, they would make up for it themselves. In order to motivate everyone, Jing Xian steeled his heart and gritted his teeth as he said, "I'm prepared to take out all of my savings. I have around 10 million gold coins in total. This is already my limit, I'll leave the rest to everyone. Jing Hao was also afraid of being punished because the punishment was a small matter, but destroying his future was a big matter. At this time, he could only spend money. I'll take out all of my money, there's around 5 million gold coins. Jing Hu said, I'll pay 1 million. I bid 200,000. I bid 100,000. More than 100 people pooled their money together, and in the end, they came up with 18 million gold coins. In addition to Chu Tian's 5 to 6 million gold coins, they had a total of about 24 million gold coins. A friend in need is a friend indeed. The two of them were moved to tears. Thank you, brothers. If we can make it big in the future, we definitely won't forget you. Vice Guild leader, say no more. This is what we should do. These more than 100 fellow sufferers agreed to collude with each other and pool money. Only after collecting enough gold did they dare return to Central Continent City. Jing Xian and Jing Hao did not believe in Chu Tian from the bottom of their hearts. The benefits that he was talking about were too illusory and ethereal. When the Tianshan Chamber of Commerce's chairman Jing Tianming heard that the two of them had returned, he quickly came out to greet them. Jing Tianming was the chairman of the Tianshan Chamber of Commerce and the highest manager of the Jing family. He controlled the Jing family's financial group and was second only to the four great families in Central State. Jing Hao and Jing Xian had just left Central State to negotiate. Jing Tianming received news from South Sky City that Chu Tian had killed the Ye family elder Chu Tian and crippled the Chu and Yi family elders. This news instantly shook the entire Central State city. Miracle Commerce was not a soft persimmon. This was simply a barrel of gunpowder. Jing Xian and Jing Hao, if this barrel of gunpowder was ignited, they might not even be able to keep their lives. Jing Tianming had been restless for the past 2 days. He was worried that the two of them would offend Chu Tian and be killed by Chu Tian in Hidden Sound Town. Chu Tian even dared to kill the elders of the three great families. What did they count for? Who would have thought that Jing Xian and Jing Hao would actually come back? Jing Tianming looked at the two of them. When he saw the injuries on their faces, he asked in a surprised voice, "How did you get injured?" "This. Because we met a group of bandits on the way here, we suffered some minor injuries, but it's not a big deal." Jing Xian did not wait for Jing Tianming to ask and immediately took out the raw stone and gold card. When we were negotiating with Miracle Commerce, we found that Miracle Commerce's strength far surpassed our expectations, so we temporarily canceled our plans and followed the normal procedure of selling the meteor grass basin. Jing Tianming let out a long sigh of relief. It's a good thing you were smart, otherwise this matter would have been hard to resolve. The meteor grass basin doesn't bring much profit to Tianshan Chamber of Commerce, so it doesn't matter if you sell it. How much did you sell it for? Jing Hao replied, "It's a total of 24 million gold coins. It's not a small amount to take this much money from these dangerous people. It's been hard on you." Jing Tianming was a little surprised. You have to remember one thing. From today onwards, don't easily come into contact with Miracle Commerce's people, otherwise it'll be easy to invite trouble. Jing Xian said in a surprised voice, "Why is that?" "You don't know yet." Jing Tianming told the two of them the news that had spread throughout Central State City. Chu Tian is not someone you can provoke. He's a madman that even dares to kill the four great families. Now that 3 of the 4 great families have a death grudge with him, it's best to avoid this group of people. Madman? Violent maniac? Dangerous people? Why didn't you say so earlier? Jing Xian and Jing Hao even had the urge to cry. If they knew that Chu Tian dared to kill the elders of the 3 great families, would they have had the courage to extort him? They didn't feel like they had been beaten unjustly at all. "You can go rest first." "Yes." Jing Xian and Jing Hao prepared to leave. At this time, an incomparably loud cry came from the sky. There was a wild and powerful aura that filled the sky. The vases in the room began to shake. The plants all around them began to shake. It was like an earthquake. Jing Xian said in a shocked voice, "Such a strong strength, what is going on?" "This pressure is..." Jing Tianming seemed to think of something. "It's Prince Tianlang." Jing Hao quickly asked, Isn't this Prince Tianlang working with the Ye family to explore the ruins? Why did he come back early? In the skies of Central State City, an incomparably large golden-winged prung circled in the sky. It was like a golden mountain, releasing a dazzling light. Each feather was filled with a powerful strength. It couldn't be wrong. This was Prince Tianlong's mount. Prince Tianlang had really come back. Jing Tianming was suddenly enlightened. I know, South Sky City's matter has angered the Ye family, so it alarmed Prince Tianlang. Prince Tianlang has come back early to deal with South Sky City's Chu Tian. It's over. It's completely over. Jing Xian and Jing Hao's faces were ashen as they almost fell to the ground. Prince Tianlang had personally dealt with South Sky City. Did Chu Tian still have a chance of survival? This was one of the 4 young masters, a shocking talent that could not be stopped by 10,000 people. How many older generation people were afraid of him? If Chu Tian was killed, would they still be able to live? This time they were really dead. In the Ye family mercenary headquarters, several thousand mercenaries pulled out their weapons as they knelt on the ground. Their faces were filled with awe, just like ministers meeting their king. There was only a middle-aged man standing to the side, but he was also bowing his head, showing a respectful attitude. When the golden eagle flew through the sky, a figure flew out. As if it was weightless, it stepped through the air and slowly descended, finally landing in the center. This was a young man with a strange demonic aura. His body was filled with a wild nature and his eyes were like a lamp. As long as he stared at someone, they would faint. His aura was very strong. He was the heavenly wolf young master, 4th awakened soul layer, a terrifying super genius with a terrifying battle strength. He was one of the top experts in Central State. The several thousand Ye family mercenaries did not dare look up. This heaven's chosen one was too dazzling. They were afraid it would burn their hearts. The middle-aged man lowered his head. We welcome the young leader's return. Prince Tianlong's eyes were very cold. Where are those pieces of trash? 7 trembling Ye family members were brought out. They were the 7 that had been crippled by Chu Tian in South Sky City. They were all distinguished elders of the Ye family. Although Chu Tian had spared their lives as punishment, most of their cultivations had been crippled and they would never be able to recover. Young master, take revenge for us. That brat Chu Tian has gone too far. These people seemed to be very afraid. They kept begging and pleading for mercy. This person, I will naturally kill him. Prince Tianlong's demonic wolf-like eyes swept over the 6-7 people and a thick blood-like killing intent filled the air. As for you pieces of trash, young master, no. The 7 of them seemed to realize something and quickly tried to escape. Too fast. Prince Tianlong's figure flashed and like a shadow, he instantly passed through the bodies of the 7 people. The 7 bodies were torn apart at the same time, blossoming into 7 flowers of blood. You've humiliated the family. Die. Ruthless and merciless. These 7 people were all relatives of Prince Tianlang, like his uncles, but he killed them all without even thinking about it. Prince Tianlang licked his blood-stained hands, revealing a strong bloodthirsty aura. The middle-aged man did not even look at the 7 people, as if he had already expected their results. He respectfully walked to Prince Tianlong's side and said in a low voice, Young master, according to our information, Tiannan City's Lord Nangong Yi has asked for help from the Nangong family. Now a Nangong family elder has gone over. A Nangong family elder? Not long ago, he just passed through Central State. Just an insignificant abandoned son of the Chu family. Chu Xinghe has suppressed me for many years. Now even a lowly bastard abandoned son dares to offend the Ye family? Even if the Nangong family protects him, it's useless. Prince Tianlong's figure flashed. Like an arrow, he shot into the sky and landed below the giant golden peng. The giant peng seemed to feel its master's rage. It suddenly spread its wings and flew towards Tiannan City. Chu Tian, your time of death has come. The giant peng spread its wings and left Central State City. Prince Tianlong's angry roar still echoed in the sky above the city, making everyone's heart tremble. This young man was too terrifying. Tiannan City's small miracle commerce, how could it withstand his rage? In 2 days, there would be no more Chu Tian in this world. Chapter 98. While Central State City was in an uproar, something big also happened in Tiannan City. Meng Qingwu personally held a press conference and solemnly announced the grand opening of Southern Cloud Medicine Shop and Southern Cloud Talisman Shop. Tiannan City was once a first-class talisman shop with a good foundation. After a month of reorganization, the influence of the poisoning incident had gradually faded. Miracle Commerce's strong rise gave Southern Cloud Commerce a whole new face. Zhang Liqing and Xiong Tianyan's participation aroused the enthusiasm of Tiannan City citizens. The time was ripe. It was time for Nanyun Commerce to once again appear in front of the citizens. Meng Qingwu divided her troops into 2 groups. On one hand, she personally held a press conference to deal with Tiannan City's major media. On the other hand, she sent out a publicity team to promote the newly opened shops throughout the city. Tiannan City's Central Square. 20 Southern Cloud Commerce employees lined up in a neat formation, wearing neat uniforms, appeared with great fanfare, immediately attracting the attention of many passers-by. Aren't these Southern Cloud Commerce employees? Southern Cloud Commerce's grand opening day, shouldn't they be very busy? Why are they here? Look, what's that huge flower-shaped thing they're carrying? Some of the sharp-eyed people at the scene were surprised to find that the Southern Cloud Chamber of Commerce's employees were in groups of 2. The former was carrying a huge long metal object on his shoulder, the top was shaped like a flower, and the latter was standing behind with his mouth facing the cylindrical opening. They suddenly spoke. Good news. Good news. Southern Cloud Commerce has reopened. All ordinary goods on site will be sold at 20% off. Spending more than 10 gold coins, free injury medicine, newly launched Qi refining pill, skin petrification talisman, currently in hot demand. If you apply for a Miracle Commerce membership card now, you can enjoy even greater discounts. Being moved is better than being moved, buying is earning. The waves of terrifying sound waves were like the roar of a giant beast, sweeping across the entire plaza. It was like the roar of a giant beast, instantly shocking everyone's hearts. Too sudden. It was like a bolt from the blue. Some timid people were not mentally prepared and almost fainted from fright. This voice was too loud, and it didn't seem to come from a human at all. It was not inferior to a giant magical beast. Even if it was a kilometer away, it could still be heard clearly. Thick and penetrating. What the fuck is this thing? It was impossible for a human to make such a loud noise. It was definitely a problem with the things in the hands of the Southern Cloud Commerce employees. That thing was basically a sonic cannon. The staff of the Southern Cloud Commerce shouted as they moved forward. They first circled around the plaza, then walked into the streets. Everywhere they passed, people were petrified. After the initial shock, everyone gradually came to their senses. Miracle Commerce had obviously come up with another incredible invention. That huge long object was obviously a super loudspeaker that could amplify a human's voice by dozens of times, or even hundreds of times. South Sky City's loudspeaker team was only a small part of it. Meng Qingwu had sent out a team of 300 people, bringing along 150 loudspeakers. They were currently touring the bustling streets of Tiannan City with explosive and violent propaganda. This was unprecedented in this era. Although the publicity method was simple and crude, people could not help but stop and sigh. At least it could attract people's attention. The explosive publicity achieved an immediate effect. The moment the 2 shops of the Southern Cloud Commerce opened, the entire street was filled with people filled with anticipation, instantly causing a serious traffic jam. Everyone wanted to go in and see with their own eyes what kind of jaw-dropping achievements this creative commerce would achieve. Medicine and talismans were all extremely profitable products. They were specially made with an exclusive formula. Southern Cloud Pharmacy's main product was the Qi refining pill. On the first day, it was limited to 50 pills and priced at 5,000 gold coins. Southern Cloud Talisman Shop's main product was the Rock Skin Talisman. They directly released 5,000 of them and each one was priced at 20 gold coins. These two items were the main products of the Southern Cloud Commerce. Not to mention 5,000 gold coins. Even if the Qi refining pill was sold for 10,000 gold coins, the big families of the central state would still crazily buy it. But considering the wealth level of Tiannan City, in addition to promoting the early stage of the promotion, Meng Qingwu lowered the price. Only families or forces could buy it. Repeated purchases were not allowed. The rock skin talisman was a new type of defensive talisman. When a body refinement cultivator used the rock skin talisman, the skin and muscles would turn into solid rock. Even if they were directly cut by a blade, they would not receive any serious injuries. It was simply a necessary life-saving talisman for mercenaries and adventurers. The moment the two items were released, they were immediately sold out. Not a single hair was left. Those who were slow couldn't help but beat their chests and stomp their feet in annoyance. Tiannan City was once again in an uproar. In one night, they filled the gap in Tiannan City's talisman and medicine market. They ruthlessly took a big bite out of the big cake, catching everyone off guard. The headlines of all the major media were once again filled with miracle commerce. Everyone couldn't help but sigh at miracle commerce. Chu Tian naturally didn't like to join in on this kind of excitement. With Meng Qingwu in front of him, Chu Tian didn't have anything to worry about. He became a shopkeeper who didn't have to do anything. For the next 2 days, he stayed in his room and concentrated on studying the hidden sound stone. In Chu Tian's era, the hidden sound stone had already been eliminated and was rarely used on the continent. However, as a ore that had changed the continent, it had an inestimable value in this era. There were many era-changing products that used the hidden sound stone as a raw material. However, the current production technology was too weak. Chu Tian couldn't immediately make something that was too advanced. He could only take it step by step and slowly explore and research, first making some rough and ancient things. For example, Southern Cloud Commerce's super loudspeaker. Actually, the super loudspeaker structure was very simple. It only had a sound-amplifying source energy array and a source energy battery to provide energy. Even a normal person could make a sound that was not inferior to a super-powerful demon beast's roar. This was the lowest level of use for the hidden sound stone. Even so, once the super loudspeaker was popularized, it would bring a lot of convenience to the continent. This thing's structure was very simple and it was very suitable for mass production. He believed that it wouldn't be long before all the large venues, the government, the military, and other large forces would order a large amount of these loudspeakers. The loudspeaker's structure was very simple, so it was very easy to crack. Chu Tian didn't care. The reason why he valued the hidden sound stone so much was not because the hidden sound stone could be used as a material for the super loudspeaker, but because of the potential the hidden sound stone had. He studied it for half a day. Chu Tian, the sales statistics are out. Meng Qingwu was holding a long list in her hands. Even the usually calm and collected her couldn't help but reveal a happy expression at this moment. It was hard for her to suppress the excitement in her heart. Meng Qingwu excitedly replied, "The Qi refining pill and the skin petrifying talisman were all sold out. Just these two alone made a profit of 350,000 gold coins. Adding the other medicines and talismans, we made a profit of 450,000 gold coins in just one day. 450,000 gold coins in revenue. And this was only one day." The new Southern Cloud Commerce had been completely reborn. The amount of revenue they made in one day surpassed the previous quarter. The most important thing was that Southern Cloud Commerce's profit margin was so high that it could scare people to death. For example, the most popular Qi refining pill, the price of its ingredients was only a few hundred gold coins. Now that it was sold for 5,000 gold coins, it was instantly sold out. It was said that there were some central state commerce or families that were selling it for 10 to 20,000 gold coins in the underground market to buy a Qi refining pill produced by Southern Cloud Commerce. Just how big of a profit was this? The talisman business was also very popular. A normal level 1 talisman was sold for a few dozen silver coins at most. Southern Cloud Commerce directly sold it for 20 gold coins. The price was 10 times higher, but it was still very popular because it was a rare commodity. Well done. With one more source of income, we have more confidence. Chu Tian was very satisfied with this. Remember to give more profit to Xiong Tianyan and Zhang Liqing. These days they used the resources of the Alchemy Association and Talisman Master Association to help us. We should at least repay them. Of course there was no need for Chu Tian to say this. Meng Qingwu had already done it. As long as they helped Miracle Commerce would not be stingy. Meng Qingwu pondered for a few seconds and said, "The pharmacy and talisman shops are very popular. Some people come late and have to line up for 1 to 2 hours. I feel that if we can continue to be this popular, we can try to merge the talisman and pharmacy shops. Then we can add more products and create a comprehensive shopping center. If you have any ideas, then do it. I support you." Chu Tian did not even ask about the details and expressed his strong support. It was clear that he had a lot of trust in her. This made Meng Qingwu feel a little touched. "I also have good news to tell you." Meng Qingwu paused and said, "The materials you wanted have all been bought." "Really?" Meng Qingwu saw the happy expression on Chu Tian's face. It was clear that this made him happier than hearing about Southern Cloud Commerce's results. In Chu Tian's mind, money was not as important as strength. Materials and resources were nothing more than a method to achieve his goal of cultivation. The materials were all gathered. It was time to refine the awakened soul pill. Chu Tian could not wait any longer. He was preparing to move out. Suddenly, there was a burst of pressure coming from the courtyard next door. There was a kind of power awakening. The two of them felt it at the same time. They looked at each other and smiled. They could see the shock and surprise in each other's eyes. It couldn't be wrong. The aura of a new source spirit. This was truly a happy occasion. Today was truly a good day. There were 3 happy events. Ying had been in closed-door cultivation for a whole week. She had finally condensed her source spirit and officially became a peak 9th body refinement layer cultivator. Let's go. Let's go see Ying first. Meng Qingwu threw everything else to the side. The two of them immediately ran to Meng Ying's courtyard to see what was happening. Chapter 99. Meng Ying had lost a bit of weight and her clear-as-water eyes were even more beautiful, as if they were dotted with starlight. A mysterious dreamy aura covered her snow-white skin. Pure, flawless, untainted by even a speck of dust. The elder sister was like a fairy from the moon palace, standing aloof from the world, not eating the food of mortals. The younger sister was like a carefree spirit of the forest, not tainted by the filth of the world. The two sisters had an otherworldly temperament. "Hey, what are you looking at?" Meng Ying noticed Chu Tian's evil eyes and her cheeks couldn't help turning slightly hot. She fiercely threatened, "If you keep looking, I'll stab your eyes." So fierce. A woman's heart is the most poisonous. Chu Tian's heartbroken appearance was like a heartless fool who had been betrayed. That's enough. Meng Qingwu was speechless at Chu Tian's clumsy acting. She was most worried about her little sister's situation. "Ying, what source spirit do you have?" Source spirit represented a cultivator's potential and talent. Source spirit determined a cultivator's growth in the future. If one was born with a waste source spirit, then their achievements would be limited. Meng Qingwu had awakened a heavenly book source spirit. This kind of source spirit was very rare and there was no cultivation technique suitable for Meng Qingwu. So Meng Qingwu was destined to never become a peak battle type expert. Physique could be changed, aptitude could be changed. Only the soul could not be changed. What kind of source spirit did Meng Ying have? This was related to her little sister's lifetime achievements, so Meng Qingwu was a bit nervous. "I don't know, but you'll know once you see it." Meng Ying's delicate and beautiful face slightly wrinkled. Suddenly, she clasped her hands together and began to condense her magic power. One could only see the smooth specks of magic power escaping from her body into the air, condensing into a blurry mirror. This was a frameless mirror. It was crystal clear, like it was condensed from mercury. It looked a bit strange. The elder sister was a book source spirit. The younger sister was a mirror source spirit. How could these two sisters have strange source spirits? Meng Qingwu quickly asked, "Do you feel anything different? Does the mirror source spirit have any attack abilities?" "No, I don't feel any power being added to my body." Meng Yingying had a worried expression as she sighed and said, "It seems like a useless source spirit." Meng Qingwu's heart sank. Could it be that his little sister's source spirit was useless? She looked at Chu Tian with a pleading gaze. Now she could only pray that Chu Tian could discover the characteristics of this source spirit. Chu Tian revealed a faint smile. "There is no true waste source spirit. Any kind of source spirit has its value. It's just a matter of how to excavate it." Meng Yingying's eyes lit up. Then she lowered her head and pursed her lips. "Are you pretending to comfort me? Actually, I don't have to do this. I'm already very satisfied with my current achievements." This girl. Why didn't she have any confidence? Chu Tian observed the mirror source spirit for a few minutes before he suddenly discovered something. His eyes lit up. "Yingying, keep your source spirit open. I'll teach you a fist art now. Observe it carefully and see how much you can remember." The Meng Qingwu sisters were very surprised. Everything was fine. Why was he teaching her a fist art? Chu Tian walked to the center of the small courtyard and the mirror slowly approached. There was a faint reflection of Chu Tian's appearance. Chu Tian began to gather his qi, deliberately filling the entire process. He suddenly stepped forward and his right fist shot out like a meteor. Rushing heaven fist. A fierce gust of wind came from his fist, causing the short trees in front of him to sway. Chu Tian slowly withdrew his spirit energy. "How is it? How much did you remember?" "You didn't say anything." Meng Qingwu was a bit confused. Teaching martial arts requires teaching heart cultivation, qi circulation methods, force usage techniques, and etc. If a person could learn it once, then there wouldn't be any secret martial arts in this world. Meng Yingying closed her eyes to think for a few minutes. Then she suddenly jumped like a rabbit, jumping into the center of the small courtyard. Her fists danced. She was very unfamiliar at first, but after practicing it twice, she immediately became proficient. It was almost the same as Chu Tian's. Suddenly, she threw out a punch. The wind from her fist flew out. It actually had 60 to 70% of the charm. Chu Tian nodded his head in satisfaction. Rushing Heaven Fist was a foundation martial art in the future. It was very refined and contained the truth of the Grand Tao. It was not something that could be easily learned. This martial art could be used by anyone with a low cultivation base. In the future, it would become stronger as one's cultivation base became stronger. Meng Qingwu was stunned. Meng Yingying's brain was not that smart. She was even a bit dumb. How could she learn it after seeing it once? She even imitated all kinds of qi circulation techniques. Meng Yingying's face turned red, revealing an excited and happy expression. "I know." "Paso." Chu Tian shook his head. "I will teach you the diamond vein severing finger. This martial art is very powerful. If you can master it, you can easily defeat your enemies in close combat. It can also be used to seal other people's cultivation base. It is suitable for dealing with captives. Watch carefully." Chu Tian demonstrated the diamond vein severing finger. The diamond vein severing finger was much more complicated than Rushing Heaven Fist. How complicated were the meridians and acupoints of the human body? Different living beings and different races had different acupoints. The mysterious part of this finger technique was that it did not need to accurately hit the acupoint. As long as it hit a meridian, the finger force would automatically enter the acupoint or directly sever the meridian. When the entire set of martial arts was demonstrated, Meng Qingwu was dizzy and could not remember anything. Chu Tian stopped. "It's your turn." "Alright." Meng Yingying began to practice. She was very unfamiliar with it at first, but after practicing 4 or 5 times, there was not much difference between her and Chu Tian's. Yingying's source spirit's ability is imitation. That's right, this is a mirror source spirit. Because her strength is too low, she can only imitate basic martial arts. As her strength increases, her imitation ability becomes stronger and stronger. This is a source spirit with great potential. Meng Yingying said in a pleasantly surprised voice. Really? A mirror source spirit has a special characteristic. It becomes strong when it meets a strong opponent and weak when it meets a weak opponent. Chu Tian gave a narcissistic sigh. You really are lucky, being together with a peerless expert like me. If you imitate me, it will be hard for you not to be strong in the future. Meng Yingying's heart filled with joy. This was truly great. Being able to follow in Chu Tian's footsteps, this was truly a fortunate matter. But her mouth still said, narcissistic? Meng Qingwu asked in a curious voice, other than martial arts, can it also imitate other things? Of course it can. Chu Tian said to Meng Qingwu, try releasing your source spirit. Meng Qingwu released her heavenly book source spirit. Meng Yingying also released her mirror source spirit. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. 10 seconds passed. Meng Qingwu withdrew her source spirit. What was strange was that inside Meng Yingying's mirror, there was still a book source spirit. Moreover, the mirror slowly melted like mercury, finally turning into a mercury book. Meng Qingwu revealed a shocked expression. It can even imitate a source spirit? If it was like this, then it was too terrifying. It was simply heaven-defying. It is impossible for a source spirit to completely imitate, it can only be temporarily imitated. But in the end, it is not your own. The imitated source spirit is incomplete and can only obtain a part of the effect. There is no room for growth and potential. Chu Tian did an experiment and took out the book for her to look at. Meng Yingying also had a strong memory, but compared to Meng Qingwu, there was still a gap. Moreover, Meng Yingying could only imitate basic abilities. The ancient memories recorded in the heavenly book could not be imitated by a mirror source spirit. Meng Yingying smiled as she said, this is great. With elder sister's learning ability, I used to read for 6 hours a day, but now I can finish it in 10 minutes. Moreover, I can remember it all. Try mine now. Chu Tian released the demon god's sword source spirit. Hey, I'll also learn your skills. Meng Yingying was now filled with confidence as she immediately used her mirror source spirit. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Meng Yingying felt a strong sense of fatigue as she copied the source spirit. Moreover, the longer it took, the stronger the fatigue became. Around 8 seconds later, Meng Yingying cried out in fear. The mirror source spirit shattered and the sword source spirit also disappeared. Meng Yingying's body went soft as she fell to the ground. Are you alright? I feel dizzy. As expected, the mirror source spirit was not omnipotent. The things the mirror could copy, there was an upper limit. When the energy was too strong, the source spirit could not copy it. No matter what was said, Meng Yingying's copying ability was definitely not weak. Meng Yingying had many different source spirit abilities. Although they were all incomplete, there was still a large number of them. Chu Tian was worried that the potential of the two sisters was too low, but now it seemed like his worries were unnecessary. These two source spirits did not have any battle strength bonuses at this stage, but as they became stronger, their effects would not be inferior to any god-level source spirit. You rest first. Don't play with the source spirit for now. Chu Tian and Meng Qingwu helped Meng Yingying into the room. Yingying was lying on the bed with a pale face. It seemed like there were some things that could not be forced. Copying a source spirit that exceeded her abilities would cause a strong negative effect on her. How do you feel? I'm hungry. Chu Tian and Meng Qingwu both began to laugh. This silly girl, she really had thick nerves. When Meng Yingying saw the two of them laughing at her, she immediately said in an unconvinced voice, I've been in closed-door cultivation for 7 days and I've only eaten a piece of dry rations every day. Good. I'll bring you something to eat. After Meng Qingwu left, Chu Tian stayed by her bedside to accompany her. At this time, a soft little hand reached out from the blanket and placed itself on Chu Tian's palm. It was like a ball of soft cotton. Chu Tian, thank you. Chu Tian was a bit stunned. She was like a startled rabbit, immediately shrinking back into the blanket. For the first time, Chu Tian did not tease her. He did not break this moment of warmth. This is just the beginning. We will definitely become better and better. Chu Tian, I know you are a person who will do great things. Meng Yingying was hidden in the blanket, only revealing a pair of beautiful big eyes. No matter where you go in the future, no matter what stage you develop to, me and elder sister will always be by your side to support you. Chu Tian gave a knowing smile. Ha, ha, relax and follow me. I'll bring you to create a new era. Really? What do you think? Then young Miss Yingying will have to wait and see. You're not allowed to brag. Meng Yingying's heart was filled with joy. If Chu Tian said it, then he would definitely be able to do it. Now that there was hope in life, it was very steady. The materials for the awakened soul pill had arrived. Chu Tian was confident that he could push the three of them to the awakened soul realm. The Tianshan Chamber of Commerce should have already sent out the goods. The nether flame grass that Chu Tian needed to cultivate the netherworld ghost flame should arrive in a few days. For defense, he had the starlight immortal body. For battle, he had the netherworld flame sword. His cultivation could break through to the awakened soul realm. There was no doubt that his strength would increase by more than 10 times. While Chu Tian was complacently planning, Meng Qingwu suddenly ran in and said to Chu Tian, "The Nangong family's messenger is here. The mayor wants you to quickly go." Chapter 100. The Nangong family was one of the 3 great families of southern Xia. Their ancestors were the ancestors of the mushroom hair drinking tribe. Because they helped southern Xia in the war, they took root in the country. After several hundred years of development, their foundation was solid and they had a deep influence. They were one of the most powerful families in the kingdom. The envoy from the Nangong family had come to this small city. It had caused a stir in countless people. There was no need to mention the reason. Naturally, it was because of Chu Tian. Chu Tian quickly went to the mayor's palace. In the mayor's palace's reception hall, there were several dozen Nangong family guards wearing red armor, carefully guarding the surroundings. There was a 60-year-old man wearing a purple-red robe, holding a dark gold staff in his hand. His body was filled with a heavy and fanatical aura. His eyes were not big, but his gaze was like a torch, making it hard for people to look straight at him. This old man's cultivation base was very high, perhaps even higher than Nangong Yi's. Actually, within the awakened soul realm, there were 3 different stages. The higher the awakened soul realm, the stronger one was. The first layer to the 3rd layer was the early awakened soul realm, known as the void soul. The 4th layer to the 6th layer was the middle awakened soul realm, known as the illustrious soul. The 7th layer to the 9th layer was the late awakened soul realm, known as the true soul. Nangong Yi was at the peak of the triple awakened soul, but he was still in the void soul realm. As for the old man from the Nangong family, he had most likely reached the illustrious souled realm. The difference on the surface was not much, but the difference in spirit energy was very large. The most important point was that when the old man arrived at the mayor's palace, Nangong Yi took the initiative to let the old man sit in the main seat. As for the mayor, Nangong Yi, he could only sit on the side. The difference in status was very clear. Chu Tian has arrived. The guard at the door loudly shouted. A delicate and handsome young man walked in. Wearing a simple blue robe, sitting on his shoulder was a little white fox, carrying a simple sword on his back, eyes as bright as the stars. That unrestrained temperament made people feel a kind of inferiority. Ding, ding. A simple and ordinary bell was tied to his waist. With every step he took, it would ring a few times. The sound of the bell had a kind of soul-shaking power. As long as Chu Tian appeared, the audience would be completely silent. The 18 black-robed people stood outside the main hall. They did not follow Chu Tian in. The 18 black-robed people stood outside the main hall. They did not follow Chu Tian in. The old man also stopped tasting his tea. His torch-like gaze slowly swept over Chu Tian. Chu Tian immediately felt a powerful pressure. He really was worthy of being an illustrious soul realm awakened soul expert. Even if he didn't release his source spirit, he could still create a strong pressure. If it was an ordinary body refinement realm cultivator, not to mention walking, even standing would be a very difficult thing to do. Chu Tian only paused for a moment before he continued walking as if he didn't notice anything. Nangong Yi was very satisfied with Chu Tian's performance. He stood up and introduced him. Elder Nangong Hai, this young man is Chu Tian, he is the super genius I just mentioned to you. Nangong Hai's expression was lukewarm as he said in a questioning tone, Nangong Yi's evaluation of you in his letter is very high, is that true? Nangong Yi secretly gave Chu Tian a look. His meaning was, don't speak for now. Nangong Yi replied for Chu Tian, Elder, to be honest, Chu Tian is the most talented young man I have ever seen in my life. The Nangong family has always been looking for talented people. I think we should take him in as a guest official to show the family's attitude of looking for talented people. The Nangong family's guest official position is not something you can give just because you want to. Nangong Hai's lukewarm attitude was hard to understand. The awakened soul realm is the most basic standard. If you don't even have the awakened soul realm, no matter how talented you are, the family will not accept you. Not to mention he wants 3 at once? Is being a guest official in the Nangong family like cabbages? Chu Tian discovered a problem. The two of them came from the same family, but they were very unfamiliar with each other. There was even a gap between them. The large family was not as united as he imagined. The two of them in the Nangong family were not on the same side. There was even a conflict of interest. Nangong Yi was about to open his mouth. All right, let's not talk about the guest official position for now. Nangong Hai had already stood up and reprimanded Nangong Yi in front of everyone. The main reason I came to South Sky City is to investigate the conflict between you and the Ye family and the Chu family. Nangong Yi, you should know that the family transferred you to Central State to let you develop the Nangong family's influence in the Central State military and political circles. But don't look for excuses. The family is very disappointed in you. Nangong Yi knit his brows. I don't care what the family thinks of me, but this young man, Nangong Hai's tone became severe. Do you understand your mission? Not only did you not obtain the desired results for the family in Central State, but you also offended the large local family, causing a conflict between the large local family and the Nangong family. Because of your actions, the Nangong family will lose several strong supporters. Have you considered the big picture? Nangong Yi firmly said, the large local family is just a group of jumping clowns. Why would the Nangong family care about their face? A just cause enjoys abundant support while an unjust cause finds little support. Don't tell me you still don't understand this principle? Nangong Hai's tone became somewhat severe. Of course I won't oppose you recruiting talented people, but don't forget your mission. Nangong Yi was a bit angry. This kind of pedantic person, it was simply infuriating. The Ye family, Chu family, and Nangong family had won over the support of several families, but could it really compare to the support of a single Chu Tian? Nangong Yi angrily said, Elder, your actions are like burning the bridge after crossing the river. I've already shown you this young man's work. Don't tell me you don't understand his talent, so why deliberately obstruct him? Obstruct? Nangong Hai stared at Chu Tian. Brat, let me ask you, why do you want to be the Nangong family's guest elder? Chu Tian frowned. He felt that today's matter wouldn't be so easy. If you don't want to say it, I'll help you say it. You've only offended a few large families, so you're desperate to find a protective umbrella. Nangong Hai said with a smile, since you want the Nangong family's protection, then you should show some sincerity. Only when you're truly loyal to the Nangong family will we consider giving you protection. But with such a two-faced approach, how can I recommend you? If you become a guest elder today and leave tomorrow, where will the Nangong family put their face? What kind of fucking reason is this? Giving you the Nangong family's secret technique? Isn't it enough to exchange for a guest elder position? Even if I really leave, your Nangong family won't lose anything. Chu Tian had never been a good-tempered person. Since the Nangong family disdained him, then why bother? If that's the case, then I don't want to be a guest elder. Young man, you have the talent, but the method is wrong. Nangong Hai bluntly said, how about this? I'll accept you as a registered disciple on behalf of the family and take you away from the Central State. You won't have to worry about the other families seeking revenge, and the Nangong Yi won't deepen the conflict with the local clans because of you. This is good for everyone. Registered disciple? Fuck your registered disciple. Chu Tian couldn't help but feel a bit angry. So what if I'm a registered disciple? It's not even a fart. A mere registered disciple of an elder, not only will he not get the Nangong family's protection, but he will also be restricted and even become a puppet. This old dog has ulterior motives. He clearly wants to keep me by his side and use me as a walking dictionary to squeeze out my value. Do you really think that I, Chu Tian, am an idiot? Nangong Hai did not allow him to argue. You, come with me now. Nangong Yi angrily said, I don't agree. Nangong Yi, are you a member of the Nangong family or not? Please pay attention to your status. You don't have the qualifications to tell this elder what to do. Nangong Hai coldly looked at Nangong Yi. No one can change the decision I've made. The whole matter had developed to this point. This was something that Nangong Yi did not expect. When Nangong Hai was about to order the guards to directly take down Chu Tian, the entire mayor's palace suddenly began to violently shake. A terrifying pressure came from above South Sky City. Nangong Hai's 2 white hairs stood up and he coldly shouted, Who dares to provoke the Nangong family? After saying this, he directly shot out from his seat and turned into a ray of light that shot out of the hall. In the sky, the wind and clouds changed, the wind howled, there was a brutal aura that filled the sky, the entire space was covered by a powerful pressure. Everyone couldn't help revealing a look of horror. This was the aura of an ancient beast. Could it be that a terrifying beast was passing through South Sky City? At this time, an incomparably large Jin Peng was slowly flying towards South Sky City. What kind of demon beast is this? When Nangong Yi and Nangong Hai saw the Jin Peng, their eyebrows knit together. The Golden Peng was a very strong level 2 demon beast, but its strength was at most at the second awakened soul layer. It was not an ancient species, it could not release such a strong aura. Everyone quickly look. There's someone on the back of the Jin Peng. The South Sky City crowd went into an uproar. The sound of people sucking in a breath of cold air came one after another. On the majestic Golden Peng, there was actually a white-clothed youth that looked to be around 20 years old. His hands were crossed in front of his chest and his white robe was fluttering in the wind. Riding on the Golden Peng, his eyes were as handsome as a demon. The scene was very impressive. The impact of this scene was too strong. How could there be such a strong person in this world? That ancient beast-like aura was being released from this person's body. Nangong Hai could feel the other side's aura. To be able to release such a strong pressure, it was clear that he was an illustrious soul realm expert. He revealed a trace of anger. No matter who it is, daring to cause trouble in the Nangong family's territory, how could I let you go? A roar sounded. Nangong Hai's body released a large amount of fire-red spirit energy. This spirit energy was different from a normal person's spirit energy. It was like a dense liquid that flowed around his body. The surging heat waves were very threatening. Magma source spirit? Nangong Hai was truly worthy of being a member of the Nangong family. He had a pure fire-attributed source spirit and his spirit energy could turn into magma, possessing a terrifying destructive might. Nangong Hai's body was covered in magma. His body became several times bigger and he looked like a magma giant. Ha ha ha. I've long heard that the Nangong family's burning the heavens art is very overbearing. Let me experience it today. The young man jumped up and jumped off of the Jin Peng's back. His spirit energy was released and a giant wolf appeared behind him. This wolf was very large and its body was as black as jade. Its 4 feet were covered in flames, its eyes were like torches, and there was a pair of incomparably large dragon wings on its 2 sides. The intimidating pressure of a fierce beast was released from this origin soul. Nangong Hai and the monstrous young man fought for 3-4 rounds in the air. Flames soared into the sky and wild winds raged. They were actually evenly matched. Nangong Hai's heart was filled with amazement. This young man was only around 20 years old, but his cultivation base was this high. Even in the strong Nangong family, there weren't many geniuses like this. Truly worthy of being a middle-awakened soul realm illustrious soul realm expert from the Nangong family. This monstrous young man became braver the more he fought. He actually had the upper hand. His source spirit suddenly expanded and covered his entire body. The giant wolf seemed to come to life as it flapped its wings in the air and charged at Nangong Hai. God Wolf Heavenly Raid. Burning the Heavens Fist. The magma around Nangong Hai's body began to boil as he sent a fist flying into the air. The two strong forces collided and many of the houses in South Sky City were set on fire. The surrounding people all began to flee in panic. There hadn't been a battle of this level in South Sky City in 100 years. The two of them were too strong. The monstrous young man was sent flying several feet. He was clearly lightly injured. Nangong Hai had a trace of blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. His injuries were actually a bit heavier. Although their cultivations were similar, the monstrous young man's source spirit was stronger. I recognize it. Dragon-winged demonic flame wolf. This is the dragon-winged demonic flame wolf. This person is one of the Central State 4 young masters, Prince Tianlang Yi Tianlang. Everyone looked at each other in amazement. No wonder this person was so strong. He was actually one of the famous Central State 4 young masters, the third-ranked Prince Tianlang Yi Tianlang. Chapter 101. The confrontation between the two top experts shocked the people of South Sky City. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed that a person could be this strong. Chu Teng, quickly leave. Nangong Yi said to Chu Tian with a calm face, the current situation is not good for you. That old man Nangong Hai has hidden evil intentions and Yi Tianlang is here to settle accounts with you. Could he leave? Chu Tian didn't even have an awakened soul realm cultivation. How could he escape from the palms of these two people? Since he couldn't leave, why would he run away in such a sorry state? Humph, don't worry, Mayor, I'm not that easy to deal with. Nangong Yi didn't think things would turn out like this. The Central State 4 young masters, each one was not a small matter. They were the most talented geniuses of the 4 great families. They were people who used the power of the entire family and invested millions upon millions of resources to train. Whether it was strength, influence, or influence, they were all at the peak of Central State. How could Chu Tian compete? Not to mention there was a Nangong Hai. At this moment, when Nangong Hai understood Yi Tianlang's identity, he revealed a surprised expression. I never thought that the Central State Ye family would produce such a powerful person. Tianlang seemed weightless as he flew through the air and slowly landed on the ground. His white robe made him look noble and aloof. His eyes that were like a wolf's flashed with a strange light. Elder Nangong Hai is indeed an expert of the Nangong family. This junior is also full of admiration. Nangong Hai was very clear in his heart. Yi Tianlang was giving him face. Although Nangong Hai's cultivation was higher than Yi Tianlang's, his source spirit and talent were far inferior. If they continued to fight, Nangong Hai wouldn't be able to last more than 50 moves. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, if he was defeated, where would his face be? Nangong Hai frowned and asked, Prince Tianlang came all the way to Tiannan City. I'm afraid it's not to compete with this old man, right? Yi Tianlang's lips curled into a devilish smile. I'm representing the Ye family to discuss an alliance with the Nangong family. The Ye family is willing to support the Nangong family. Nangong Hai's heart thumped. Yi Tianlang was a genius. The Ye family was also a mercenary family with many experts. If they could stand under the Nangong family's banner, it would definitely be a great help to the Nangong family. If he, Nangong Hai, came to the central continent and facilitated such a good thing, wouldn't that be a great merit for the family? The Ye family only has one condition. What condition? Yi Tianlang's eyes searched through the crowd. There is a little brat here called Chu Tian who used tricks to harm the Ye family elders and cripple 7 of the Ye family's experts. This caused my Ye family to be shamed and we are like fire and water. The elders don't want to see the alliance between the two families be destroyed by an unrelated small character, right? Nangong Hai laughed. I thought it was a big deal. It's just a little brat. Of course I can let you torture him. But this person is still useful to me, so I hope you can spare his life and let me bring him back. Yi Tianlang's brows knit together. Since I'm here, he must die. Young Master Yi, please be at ease. Nangong Hai solemnly vowed. You can completely cripple him, never to rise again, and I will be responsible for the rest of his days. He will live a life worse than death. How about this? Alright, Lin Lang thought it was a good idea. Then let me first cut off his limbs bit by bit, crush all his bones, so that he can never stand up, and forever become a useless cripple. Chu Tian is here. Nangong Hai didn't care. Do as you please. Absolutely not. Nangong Hai coldly looked at Nangong Yi, who stood out. The Ye family is famous in Zhongzhou. Can one person be more important than the support of the entire Zhongzhou Ye family? Idiot. Nangong Yi angrily stared at Nangong Hai, losing his mind and roaring, no matter how much sand and stones there are, how can they compete with a divine diamond? As long as I can still stand today, I will not allow this to happen. Nangong Hai. What a big idiot. Didn't he know that his way of doing things would make Chu Tian hate the Nangong family? This was planting a seed of destruction for the Nangong family. Chu Tian definitely had the ability to destroy the entire family. He definitely had it. The volcano source spirit was released. Nangong Hai flew into a rage. Nangong Yi, you have no one in your eyes, looking down on your elders. Do you want to violate the family rules? Since it's like this old man will teach you a lesson on behalf of the family head. Elder Nangong, calm your anger. Yi Tianlang leisurely took a step forward, releasing the fierce dragon-winged demonic flame wolf. I've long heard that the Nangong family's Nangong Yi is very strong, possessing the powerful volcano source spirit, but I never had a chance to ask for it. How about we take this chance today and have a good competition with Mayor Nangong? Nangong Yi had repeatedly protected Chu Tian. This could be said to have angered the Ye family. Yi Tianlang wanted to take this chance to fiercely teach Nangong Yi a lesson. He wanted to let this fellow know who had the final say in Central State. Nangong Hai knew what Yi Tianlang was thinking. This old man is too lazy to make a move. I'll have to trouble Prince Tianlang. Nangong Yi's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. This old bastard. Truly hateful. The situation was very bad. One was Yi Tianlang, one was Nangong Hai. Both of them were fourth awakened soul layer illustrious soul realm experts, while Nangong Yi was only at the peak of the triple awakened soul void soul realm. The gap between the triple awakened soul and the fourth awakened soul layer was very large. With Nangong Yi's strength, he could not beat either one of them. Could he really protect Chu Tian from two illustrious soul realm experts? Is Mayor Nangong prepared? Nangong Yi revealed a cautious expression. Monster wolf transformation. Transform into my body. Yi Tianlang gave a long roar and the dragon-winged demonic flame wolf's source spirit turned into strands of black flames. It was like a layer of armor that was evenly distributed around Yi Tianlang's body. Man and wolf as one. Spirit and body as one. At this moment, Yi Tianlang had turned into a half-man, half-wolf monster. That pair of demonic eyes had now turned into a demonic green color. This is the Central State Ye family's inherited cultivation technique, monster wolf transformation. Whether it was the Chu family's soul sword secret art, the Ye family's monster wolf transformation, or the Nangong family's burning the heavens art, they were all cultivation techniques that were compatible with the family bloodline. Not only was it easier to cultivate, it was also more compatible with one's source spirit, allowing one to display a stronger battle strength. Yi Tianlang was surrounded by a fierce aura. He was like an ancient demonic wolf that had just awoken from its slumber. With a cruel and playful gaze, he looked at the prey in front of him. Nangong? What a joke! Yi Tianlang turned into a blur as he charged forward. His spirit energy condensed into a wolf claw on his right arm. The black claw glow left behind 5 deep marks on the walls. The walls on both sides were completely torn apart. With an incomparably threatening aura, he charged at Nangong Yi. Nangong Yi's hands suddenly came together. Volcano shield. The volcano seemed like it had been suppressed for tens of thousands of years. Like a broken dam, it spat out a surge of energy that condensed into an incomparably large barrier. The black claw glow shattered the barrier, but it did not harm Nangong Yi, who was behind the barrier. Nangong Yi seized this chance and sent out a flaming fist at Yi Tianlang. Yi Tianlang was a bit surprised as he used his left fist to meet the attack. The two fists collided. Half the windows of the buildings on the street were shattered by the fierce strength. The air instantly exploded and dust was blown into the air. Many of the weaker people fainted on the spot. Yi Tianlang was forced back several steps. A trace of blood leaked from the corner of Nangong Yi's mouth. The volcano source spirit was truly strong. Although it was not a top-level god-level source spirit, it still had a very wild strength. Because he had the volcano source spirit, Nangong Yi's spirit energy was 2-3 times stronger than other cultivators of the same level. Nangong Yi had the volcano source spirit. Although he was at the peak of the triple awakened soul, he could still kill a third illustrious soul cultivator. This Nangong Yi was very strong. It was a pity that he was born in the wrong family. The Nangong family had too many geniuses. If he was born in one of the Central State 4 families with his talent, he would have received the same training as the Central State 4 young masters. The volcano source spirit was very strong, but it had a clear weakness. The volcano source spirit had a terrifying destructive might and also had a strong spirit energy. However, the volcano could not continuously erupt. Nangong Yi released a spirit energy shield, which was enough to block Yi Tianlang's full strength attack. But when he sent out a fist, its might was indeed a lot weaker. Yi Tianlang hastily received it, but he was still able to injure it. The volcano source spirit could only erupt for a moment and Nangong Yi's battle strength would increase by several times. When the source spirit calmed down and began to brew again, Nangong Yi's strength would decrease by a large amount. He would be no different from a normal triple awakened soul expert. Mayor Nangong has some skills. Let's try this move again. Tianlang's prey hunt. The dragon-winged demonic flame wolf's source spirit jumped out from Yi Tianlang's body and turned into 4 small wolves in the air. Each small wolf turned into a black shadow that was hard to see with the naked eye. They moved as fast as lightning around Nangong Yi. Nangong Yi's back was hit by a palm. Nangong Yi's chest was hit by a claw. After being attacked 4-5 times in a few seconds, the 4 wolves charged at him at the same time, preparing to bite different parts of his body. Nangong Yi had no choice but to release the volcano's spirit energy and heavily slap the ground, burning heaven, splitting earth palm. The surging volcano's spirit energy erupted. The thick volcano's spirit energy was like 10,000 horses galloping as it swept across the street. The stone floor within several meters began to crack as it was melted by the high temperature of the volcano's spirit energy. Nangong Yi released his strength once more. This was a good chance. Yi Tianlang once again fused with his source spirit and turned back into a wolf man. Several dozen attacks landed on Nangong Yi from different directions. The last palm landed on Nangong Yi's back and sent him crashing into a thick wall, causing the entire wall to collapse. Nangong Hai was not angry, rather he was rejoicing in other people's misfortune. It seemed like he was very happy to see Nangong Yi being beaten. The difference in strength was already very clear. Nangong Yi angrily roared as he jumped out of the rubble. However, his mayor's robe was already in tatters, his hair was disheveled, and his face was covered in blood. It was clear that he had been heavily injured. His eyes were filled with battle intent. Nangong Yi had faith. He definitely could not lose this battle. Chu Tian's potential and Chu Tian's danger, Nangong Yi had a deep feeling. The Nangong family could not obtain this genius, but they could not become enemies with him. Otherwise, in just a few years, this 1,000-year inheritance, hundreds of years of development, and a large family with an excellent bloodline would face the danger of being exterminated. This was not alarmist talk. Chu Tian definitely had the ability to do this. Your will is quite strong. Yi Tianlang turned into a shadow as he charged forward and kicked Nangong Yi's chest. Nangong Yi spat out a large mouthful of blood, even his source spirit was scattered on the spot. He was once again knocked to the ground, unable to climb back up. Yi Tianlang's attack was too heavy. With Nangong Yi's injuries, if he didn't stay in bed for 2-3 months, it would be hard for him to recover. Mayor Nangong Yi's volcano source spirit, it seems like it's only SOSO. This really disappoints me. Yi Tianlang, in front of the South Sky City citizens and in front of Nangong Hai, had unscrupulously humiliated the mayor. The citizens all revealed looks of anger. This Yidanlang was too excessive. Nangong Yi was a good mayor and had the support of the people in South Sky City. He had not only humiliated Nangong Yi, he had humiliated the entire South Sky City. Mayor, the Ye family is too much of a bully. Yidanlang casually waved his hand. Scram? Those people were like wheat being cut. They instantly fell down, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. Their injuries were not light. It's over. Completely over. This was clearly a youth with the ability to change the world and strengthen the entire southern Xia. Did they really have to watch him fall? At this time, a few clear bell sounds rang in everyone's ears. Ding dang. Ding dang. Everyone felt like they were in a trance. Chu Tian walked out from the crowd. His eyes looked at Yidanlang, then swept over Nangong Hai, and finally fell on Nangong Yi, revealing a profound smile. The Nangong family is a family with the immortal bird as their totem. You claim to be the inheritors of the immortal bird, but do you really understand the essence of the immortal bird? Chu Tian seemed to be talking to himself. Although his voice was very soft, it was deafening. What did he mean by that? The Nangong ancestors used the immortal bird as their totem. I think it was to warn their descendants to be as proud as the immortal bird. Even if they had to go through a disaster, even if their bones were crushed, they would still be able to rise from the ashes. As long as they have the conviction to rise from the ashes, the immortal bird will never die. This is the true spirit of the immortal bird. Nangong Yi was slightly startled. Chu Tian's eyes fell on Nangong Yi. Haven't you noticed? Your potential is thousands of times stronger than this bullshit Nangong Hai. When you fearlessly challenge stronger opponents, you have already touched the bottleneck. Go and try to break through. Really? Why didn't I feel it myself? Let me lend you a hand. Chu Tian recited a complex and profound Heart Sutra. It was a fragment of the great Nirvana Heart Sutra. Nangong Yi had been stuck at the peak of the triple awakened soul for a long time. Actually, he was like Yun Yao, having the possibility of breaking through at any time. As long as he received the right guidance, he would definitely be able to break through the bottleneck. From the moment Nangong Yi made his move, Chu Tian decided to help him. Yidanlang felt strange. Who is he? Nangong Hai smiled and said, Prince Tianlang specially came to South Sky City to find Chu Tian. Now that he is standing in front of you, you actually don't recognize him? This was Chu Tian? He truly had a peerless elegance. Yi Tianlang's eyes turned cold and cruel. You still dare to stand out after seeing me? I can't help but admire your courage, but let's end it here. Not to mention that Nangong Yi could not break through. Even if he did, he was heavily injured. Even if he was at the fourth awakened soul layer, he could not stop him. Not to mention there was still Nangong Hai beside him. Today, no one could protect Chu Tian. Chapter 102. Nangong Yi seemed to have fallen into an unprecedented state. It was as if he had understood something, but he couldn't grasp it. Each of Chu Tian's words entered his ears like thunder from the 9 heavens, fiercely attacking his soul. His originally exhausted aura was slowly being restored. Moreover, it was quickly becoming stronger. Nangong Hai's expression changed. How could there be such a monstrous person in this world? Could it be that a few words could make someone break through? Yi Tianlang was also stunned. This scene was simply a miracle. Nangong Yi's aura became stronger and stronger, like a giant volcano slowly awakening. He slowly stood up and said word for word, Nangong Hai, you've won over a small clan for the small benefits in front of you. You've killed a hero, trampled on your own clan, and disregarded your family's dignity. You are not worthy of being the Phoenix's successor. Nangong Yi's aura became stronger and stronger, as if it was endlessly increasing. A vigorous heat wave was released. That strong aura made Nangong Hai take half a step back. At this moment, Nangong Yi seemed to have turned into a terrifying doomsday volcano. The doomsday flames from hell had been brewing for tens of thousands of years. Once it erupted, the heavens and earth would be destroyed and all living things would be exterminated. Roar! Nangong Yi gave a loud roar into the sky. The red flames soared into the sky and the vigorous aura pierced through the clouds, scattering the clouds above him. The surrounding several miles were covered in a wild energy that was violently trembling. Power. This was power. Nangong Yi was like Nangong Hai and Yitengling. Even if he didn't summon his source spirit, he could still release a strong aura to suppress his enemies. This was a sign of the illustrious soul realm. This meant that in this short moment, Nangong Yi had already broken through the early awakened soul realm's void soul realm and reached the intermediate awakened soul realm's illustrious soul realm. He was already a strong cultivator at the fourth awakened soul layer. From this moment on, Nangong Yi was no longer a senior deacon of the Nangong family. He already had the qualifications to become an elder. From now on, he was on the same level as Nangong Hai. Nangong Hai's face was full of shock. He actually broke through. Nangong Yi laughed heartily, then turned to Chu Tian and cupped his fists. I will never forget the kindness of your guidance. Chu Tian smiled. You have already reached the opportunity to break through. What I did was nothing more than lifting a finger. Don't mention it. Another wave of ferocious berserk beast chi gushed out. So what if I broke through? Yidenlang roared furiously, die. He dashed forward with instant step. He punched out. Nangong Yi tilted his body slightly and avoided the lightning-fast punch by a millimeter. This made Yi Tianlong's pupils shrink slightly. Hyperfocus. That's right. Not only had Nangong Yi achieved a breakthrough, but he had also comprehended the profound meaning of minute subtlety. Scram. Nangong Yi gave a roar and the power of the volcano was released. Yi Tianlang was sent flying. He flipped several dozen times in the air before the power dissipated and he landed on the ground. At this time, Nangong Yi clenched his fists. His body was covered in flames and his spirit energy was at its peak. When his cultivation reached the fourth awakened soul layer, his strength could even defeat a fifth awakened soul layer expert. This was the power of the volcano source spirit. Didn't Prince Tianlang want to experience the might of the volcano source spirit? Nangong Yi looked at Yi Tianlang with a cold smile. Today, I'll let you experience it to your heart's content. Yi Tianlang's monstrous face could no longer remain calm. The volcano source spirit is at its peak. This attack is enough to kill a fifth awakened soul layer cultivator. We must work together to block it. Nangong Hai nodded. All right. Nangong Yi gathered the volcano source spirit energy into his fist and released it at the two of them. A vast and mighty power surged out. Yi Tianlang and Nangong Hai worked together to block it. Half the houses on the street were heavily damaged. All the glass within 5 kilometers shattered. It was like a terrifying explosion. Nangong Hai and Yi Tianlang's clothes were burnt black and their faces were covered in dust. They looked very embarrassed. But the lucky thing was that they had blocked Nangong Yi's attack. Nangong Yi's face turned pale. His body swayed and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His injuries were too heavy. Adding in the fact that he had just broken through, his realm was not stable. In this kind of situation, he could not fight anymore. Nangong Hai revealed a look of jealousy. Nangong Yi was born in a branch of the Nangong family. He did not have many resources since he was young, but he had awakened a powerful volcano source spirit. Moreover, he had a daughter who had the potential to condense a god-level source spirit. Because of the father and daughter's great potential, staying in Imperial City would destroy the family's benefits, so the family sent Nangong Yi to a small city to be the mayor. Who would have thought that in this kind of barren place? Nangong Yi had actually grown up. He was only 39 years old. He was already an illustrious soul realm expert. Chu Tian clapped his hands and calmly walked forward. He could see that Nangong Yi was an arrow at the end of its flight and could not continue fighting. All right, this is enough. This matter started because of me, so I have to personally take care of it. Moreover, you've been in the limelight enough, so it's my turn to perform. Chu Tian did not panic at all. His bright eyes stared at Yinlang. Let me deal with this fellow. What? Chu Tian wanted to personally make a move. Yi Tianlong's monstrous eyes flashed with a cold glow. People have made you sound like a god. I didn't believe them at first, but it seems like it really is the case today. The Chu family is truly blind, actually treating you like an abandoned chess piece. But it's all over, no matter what, I won't let you leave here alive. Chu Dun had to die. He couldn't even take a single breath. Otherwise, even if he was crippled, he would still have a chance to threaten the Ye family. Chu Tian directly walked up. Just a little rat and you want to take me down? Nangong Yi asked in a daze. Are you serious? Chu Tian nodded and said, back off, let's watch the show. Where did Chu Tian's confidence come from? Other than Nangong, Yinling did not place anyone else in his eyes. Even if it was Nangong Yi Tianlang would not necessarily lose. After all, he was also a super genius. You don't even have an awakened soul realm cultivation. Killing you is as easy as turning my hand. I agree with this point. Chu Tian gently snapped his fingers. However, I want to introduce my guards to you first. Come, little ones, greet young Master Yi. 18 black-robed people slowly walked out. Yi Tianlang used his wolf instincts and instantly felt that among the 18 black-robed people, even the weakest one had a cultivation base at the second awakened soul layer. How could Chu Tian have this many experts by his side? This was completely illogical. Yi Tianlang was still disdainful. What a joke. You think you can beat me with numbers? You're too naive. Not to mention a trivial 18, even if there were 38, I would still kill my way out and take your head. I'll give it a try. Chu Tian gently shook the bell. The 18 corpse soldiers that had been standing like statues, not moving at all, suddenly woke up from their slumber. They all jumped up at the same time and like 18 shadows, they instantly surrounded Yi Tianlang. Yi Tianlang gave a low roar and suddenly turned into a human wolf. Stepping off the ground, he shot out. His wolf claws ignored the corpse soldiers and directly attacked Chu Tian. However, Yi Tianlang had just moved. 18 ruthless corpse poison palms attacked Yi Tianlang from different positions. Yi Tianlang's heart slightly trembled. He had no choice but to avoid the Yin corpses' attacks. The 18 Yin corpses retreated as soon as they came in contact. They scattered around Yi Tianlang. They moved around each other, taking care of each other. That seemingly chaotic formation actually contained a mysterious meaning. What was going on? Yi Tianlang's sharp senses felt danger. The auras of the 18 mysterious black-robed people completely fused into one. Their movements and steps were very strange, like a single hair moving the whole body. It was like a giant spirit array, suppressing Yi Tianlang in the center, making it impossible for Yi Tianlang to display his full strength. Chu Tian saw Yi Tianlang's serious expression. He immediately laughed and taunted. What? You don't dare move. I'm just standing here. Come and kill me. 18 Dragon Trap Array. This was an offensive and defensive array, filled with mysteries. It required at least 18 awakened soul cultivators to form a battle array. This kind of array was very difficult to practice. Not only did the 18 people have to think it through, they also had to go through a lot of practice. Normally, it was an array that the nobles trained their guards to protect their masters. Chu Tian held the soul-controlling bell in his hand and used the bell to control the corpse soldiers. These 18 corpse soldiers did not have any consciousness. They were like 18 chess pieces in Chu Tian's hands, so he could control them at will, forming any battle array. Ding ding ding. A burst of crisp bell sounds echoed in his ears. The 18 black shadows moved at high speeds, creating strange phantoms, making Yi Tianlang feel his mind go into a trance, not knowing where to break through. Good chance. Chu Tian seized this moment of opportunity. He immediately controlled the 18 corpse soldiers, combining them in pairs, charging forward at the same time. The corpse poison gathered together, forming a giant corpse poison ball, suddenly covering Yi Tianlang inside. Roar! Yi Tianlang roared out, wanting to break through, but saw a pair of palms blocking in front of him. You're just like an ant. Scram! Yi Tianlang's palms struck out, for palms facing each other, with a hong sound, a cunning and sinister palm strength, like it could topple the mountains and overturn the seas. It made his body feel numb, and he was instantly sent flying. Yi Tianlang revealed a horrified expression. How could a second or third layer fellow send him flying? If the corpse soldiers were alone, It was impossible for them to exchange palms with Yi Tianlang. That attack just now was several dozen of them lined up, gathering their strength into one, instantly sending it to the Yin corpse in front, and then exploding it all at once. Yi Tianlang did not see the situation clearly, directly meeting the attack. It would be strange if he wasn't heavily injured. Tianlang did not have time to catch his breath. The corpse soldiers all charged forward. Their attacks were like waves, wave after wave, endlessly. Yi Tianlang was stretched. He was in a very difficult situation. Prince Tianlang? Such a great reputation. But he doesn't seem to live up to his name. Look at your current appearance. What's the difference between you and a stray dog? Chu Tian used the soul-controlling bell to disturb him, while also using words to provoke him. I think you might as well change your name to the stray dog young master. When had Yi Tianlang ever suffered this kind of humiliation? Anger attacked his heart. Pooh! He spat out a large mouthful of black blood. This is bad, he's been poisoned. Yi Tianlang could not understand no matter how he thought about it. How did things develop like this? With his strength, sweeping across South Sky City, capturing Chu Tian, wasn't this as easy as turning his hand? Now not only did he not capture Chu Tian, he was being pressured step by step by Chu Tian. He had already been seriously injured. There was a risk of defeat at any moment. The citizens of South Sky City were all dumbstruck. Was this scene real? Was this really one of the Central State 4 young masters? Within the Central State area, among the younger generation, one of the 4 most dazzling geniuses, with a peerless style, stepping on a golden eagle, alone, proudly descending upon South Sky City, defeating the mayor. No one could stop him. Everyone thought that with Prince Tianlang personally descending, in front of this overwhelming strength, Chu Tian would be unable to escape. No one thought that. Chu Tian was not afraid. Even without Nangong Yi's breakthrough, he still had the ability to deal with Prince Tianlang. Now, as if he was playing around, he easily suppressed Prince Tianlang, letting the 18 bodyguards beat him into a sorry state, like a stray dog. Despicable villain. Using numbers to bully the few, what kind of ability is that? Using numbers to bully the few? Why don't you talk about what kind of conduct your Ye family has? You little brat dared to come alone to kill me, then no matter what, I will not let you leave unscathed. It's decided. Today. Chu Tian was prepared to use his actions to give the Ye family, as well as all the powers in Central State, a fierce blow and lesson. To let them deeply understand a principle. Provoke the King of Hell. Don't provoke Chu Tian. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.